You use this experience now to have success in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
No, I just get to know him a little bit better. I've seen the replays. I know the horse. I was gonna get together with the team and see how would they like to do stuff. What they'd rather be, or the ideal position they want to see him, and we go from there. Make a plan, and we go from there.
Well, you got in late last night around 1 a.m. You worked journalism earlier this morning. What's the rest of your day look like now?
You go back to Kentucky, and I think we got a great card out there today with the 2-year-olds, and I'm very 2 live horses for Kenny, and I'm very eager to get back. So,
thank you for the time, Jose. Appreciate it. Safe travels, and we'll see you next week here for the Breeders' Cup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And you're coming back here Wednesday?
Jose Ortiz, one of the absolute best in the business, and there's a look at journalism cooling out, getting a little bath, getting all scrubbed up after he's done his final important work prior to the Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll get you that time as soon as we know what it is for that work, but just visually, what did you think?
I mean, visually, I thought it was absolutely perfect. I think they got just – ooh, he's want to kind of sit down a little bit. I think they got just enough out of it visually, what they wanted. Nothing too slow, but nothing too fast. I think the company in front of them was perfect, kept them honest, and I think Jose got a really good feel for him. I thought the transition to the pole was perfect, and we have a very special horse right behind us here.
Yeah, that's right. So as we're looking at the work of Sovereignty, or journalism, Sovereignty is photobombing the set. So he just walks behind us right now. And yes, I do have my phone out like a tourist, because when these animals are around us, it's something else. He might be the best looking horse I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's I mean, an absolute specimen, a complete beast. He's developed and grown, and we showed you earlier in the week the development of his workouts, and that's gone hand in hand with the development of him physically. I mean, he's just an absolute monster.
He's huge.
Let's go to Andy. She's walking with journalism right now. Andy, what does he look like?
Yeah, Mike, as you said, Sovereignty, just an incredible physical specimen. But you can see exercise rider Jimmy just loosening up the girth for him here so he can take a breath. Really just a beautiful horse. Even if you look at his polo bandages, the dirt is evenly on all of his polo, so he's hitting the ground even. And he's not blowing or winded at all. He's very happy, just receiving love from Jimmy and walking very classy with his pony, Rocky. A lot of colts will try to mess with the pony. They get distracted, but you can see Sovereignty here, just all class, very focused at the task at hand, taking in this paddock and not caring about anything. I mean, this is his first time. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of signage. There's 3 scary dudes sitting under a tent in a big set. And he is unfazed by everything. So just a class act and looks in perfect physical form here.
It's a little warm. It's a cool morning. Anything to take from that, Simon?
No, I don't think so. This is post-exercise. He's done his work. I get a little warm after my workout.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You're a mess.
I'm a mess.
But Sovereignty might be a better physical specimen than Simon Bray,
There's
if we're
no
being
question
honest.
about that.
We take a look. Bill Mott actually just took the rein. He's walking him into the stall.
His demeanor is so good,
right?
Too. He's got that swag about him when he walks.
I mean, he could be the pony leading the pony.
Yeah, for sure.
We 3 guys who talk for a living, and we're all speechless when he walks by. Gives you an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is a horse that takes your breath away. He's going to be the favorite.
Look at the way he stands.
And that's the other thing. They always talk about, trainers, when they talk about the great horses, it always bothers me. They're like, oh, God, they're going to talk about how he has such a good mind.
No, but
it's such an important part. You can't get there without the physical ability, but the physical ability doesn't do no good if you don't have the mental ability.
Well, that's the difference between a good horse and a great horse. The good horse and a great horse, the mental aspect of it, that's what puts the good horses over the top. If they can handle the big crowds on the big days and they're not losing their race before the, losing their race in the paddock before the for the big day, makes a huge difference.
And his exercise rider just enjoying it. Bill Mott, you can see smile on his face, and who wouldn't have a smile on their face walking a horse like that? And Bill Mott, look, he's changed over the years, without a doubt, as they often do. But I feel like this go-round, a part of him's letting him enjoy it a little more. I feel like Bill Mott has been all business every day of his life. You did get the sense this go-round with Sovereignty through the Derby and the Belmont that he did take a step back and let himself enjoy the ride.
Yeah, because, horses like this don't come along very often. I mean, that family's had a lot of things go on off the track the last couple of years, and I think that has a lot to do with it as well. Just puts everything into perspective.
And there's a look at Sovereignty making another lap around the paddock here.
Bill
And
Mott, how we doing, bud?
Bill Mott talking to Simon Bray right now.
How you doing?
He's walking right up. He's bringing the Derby winner over. I mean, let's be honest. If you have a horse like
That's
that, you're
so
trying
cool.
to get him in front of the camera as much as possible.
He's unbelievable, isn't he?
How do you do today, Bill? Good. As, he said Will Walden was over there with him. He said he looks a little tucked up. Huh? He's an outstanding horse. My apologies
That's
if
so cool.
the show's kind of bobbling along here, but we're bobbling along. I mean, this is. For people who aren't in horse racing, this is like watching LeBron James walk into the room.
Yeah.
This is like watching Michael Jordan walk into the room. This is watching the greatest player in the world walk into the room. And he has that regal air about him. He's so appropriately named Sovereignty because he does feel like royalty.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, that's everything you want. Look at him. We're talking about the mental aspect, standing perfectly here. And that's the same with athletes. You know, those athletes, the LeBrons, the Kobes, they have that mental edge over everyone. Kobe Bryant could beat people before the game had even started, just
Right.
through his mind, not through physical play. And this, you see a horse like that come into the paddock, you're like, oh, no, we're in trouble.
And Simon, you brought it up so good, Derby week with his works. Back in, I think it was February, he worked 102 and change and couldn't outwork a maiden. And then now he's working 59 and 4 2 works back. So just his progression, which is scary to see because as good as he was doing for the Derby, it seems like he's doing even better now.
That's right.
And I think the scary thing for the competition is I don't know that we've seen the best from Sovereignty yet. I feel like there is still more under the hood there, and they haven't opened the throttle completely on him in any of his races.
Well, even in the Travers last time, as good as a performance as that was, he ran that 115 buyer. I feel like the last 16th of a mile, he was kind of just coasting in, which, to your point, Mike, is pretty scary to think about.
I said it day one of this show, minute one. I'm telling you, you're going to see a blowout performance from him. I think he's going to run the best race of his life on Saturday.
And this is one of the deepest classic fields we've seen in this century. I mean,
Yep.
it is loaded from top to bottom. As you could see, he was the star of the show for the breakfast shows at Churchill. He's been the star of the show thus far. The fans are happy, weighing in on the social medias there, the Face Space and the My Books, et cetera, et cetera. But he really is all the hype. I can't quantify just how good this horse really is. I mean, that's what we're dealing with right here. He's been managed expertly by Bill Mott. He made that very controversial decision. They didn't even consider the Preakness. They went Derby, Belmont. Now, did they pass up on a Triple Crown? I don't know, but he's the first horse ever to win the races that he won in succession, going Derby, Belmont, Jim Dandy, Travers. No one's ever done that before.
I mean, I hate to dismiss the Preakness, but I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter with his legacy. If I believe what's going to happen on Saturday, the Preakness it doesn't matter.
I think skipping the Preakness sets him up even better for the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Well, here's a look at Sovereignty earlier today, and this is just a little gallop.
Yeah, he's got a little more aggressive. Even Bill said the first day here, that happens when horses, I've said it before, change venue. When they come to a new place, they ship, they get a little aggressive. And he in a good way, they want to do it. So he's going to work tomorrow, just be perfect, take the edge off him.
He looks so good, too, going around there. Absolutely perfect. Has his ears up. And that's what you want, too. You don't want him loose rein, kind of having to ask him a little bit. This is absolutely perfect. He's taking the rider in a good manner. He's not too ranked, but he's not lazy. Just very, very nice coasting along. And it looks like he's absolutely skipping over the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he could go any time that he wanted to, right? The rider, all he had to do was just ask him and he'd be gone.
I mean, anybody can look at that, like you were saying yesterday, Simon. You don't need to be a
Nope.
trainer or a horseman. Anyone can look at that and understand that is just majesty. That is absolute poetry in motion. Just a fantastic physical specimen, an incredible mover. He'll catch your eye no matter what. If you've never seen a horse before, or if you grew up herding wild horses on the prairie, like you would look at that horse and say, my goodness, like Ivan Lopezana says, Sovereignty blows your mind by just looking at him.
That's exactly right. And, you know, people always ask me, you know, when you're looking at conformation, those that don't follow horse racing, how can you tell the difference? Horses all look the same to me. That's not the case with this. He's a poster child. Like, what's the perfect racehorse? You would just put a picture of him up.
I mean, we acted like we've never been to a racetrack when he came by here.
Yeah.
That's how good he looks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a monster. Just a monster. So classy. Loved him from the very beginning. And while he has absolutely returned that love for you, Marina, as he has been nothing short of sensational. And I think when all is said and done, if he blows away this classic field, we're looking at one of the all-time greats. That's a horse where you can put greatness as a modifier without any reservation.
No question about it. That's what I said. The Preakness won't come in the equation. It doesn't matter. He's done enough.
As we get a look at him now, the work tomorrow is going to be different than this. Is just a gallop. And for argument's sake, just give us the difference between a gallop and an actual breeze, Joe.
So a gallop, you're going anywhere from, what, Simon, 16, 17, 20 seconds an eighth?
Yes.
Whereas in a work, you're going, for the most part, trying to click off 12s. That's kind of the difference between a gallop and a work. And then in a workout, say tomorrow, he's going to be 6 days out. They're really not. They don't want to do anything crazy. Again, he has his fitness for this race. I feel like his workout tomorrow, the worst thing that could happen is if they go way too fast. I think they just want a nice, if they go a half a mile, 48 and change, 49, I think that's going to be absolutely perfect.
That's what I know in Bill Martin, the way he trains, 48, 49, gallop out 102, something like that, 5/8 and 102. So that's exactly what he'll do.
And let's look at the list of horses that have already accomplished what he's trying to accomplish, winning the Derby and the Breeders' Cup Classic. These are Derby winners that have won the Breeders' Cup Classic in the same year. So Authentic, the last one to do it, that was the COVID year during the pandemic, so the dates were a little different. The Derby was pushed back into the fall. American Pharoah, the Triple Crown winner, was brilliant in the Classic at Keeneland. The Great Unbridled, and of course, Sunday Silence.
I mean, you think what is it, year 42 for the Breeders' Cup, if I'm not mistaken? And those are the only four horses that have done it. I mean, it's a remarkable achievement. And like I said, Authentic, the COVID year, and the other three, I mean, are marquee names in the sport of thoroughbred horse racing. Sunday Silence and American Pharoah and Ferdinand.
Honorable mention to Street Sense, because it took Curlin to beat him.
Yes,
so
true.
He ran a great Classic there. We've got another one behind us. Here's Beleza in the Filly Mare Turf.
For Christophe Clement, right?
Yeah, Christophe Clement. So we've got
Miguel,
action.
excuse me.
Miguel Clement, of course.
Yeah.
Miguel doing a great job this year as he took over his late father's stable. Let's take a look at journalism now. As journalism, he put in his work this morning. He's getting walked around the barn, and Jose Ortiz has a new friend. You know, we started a conversation. Maybe we can bring it back because we got interrupted by the appearance of Sovereignty, who's kind of photobombed the set. We had a little lower third there. It said, is Jose Ortiz a better fit for journalism? Of course, the big news was Humberto Rispoli after a campaign that yielded a Derby victory, a Haskell victory, a Santa Anita Derby victory, and a Preakness victory, and runners-up in the Derby and the Belmont. He was taken off, and now Jose Ortiz gets aboard. Is Jose Ortiz a better fit?
I mean, we'll find out on Saturday. I mean, look, Humberto's won 5 races on his horse. It's not like he's never won on him before. And he's worked them, I mean, I don't know how many times. So if anyone knows him better than anyone, I would say it is Humberto, just from riding him so many times and working him. But saying that, I mean, whether it's journalism or any other horse, I mean, Jose Ortiz is one of the top 3 jockeys in the nation. So I feel like any horse he's going to be aboard, he's going to do well on him.
Simon, what do you think?
It's a tough call because, you know, I don't know what to think, really. I just think fate sometimes, it doesn't always play out when you make moves like this.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking from, like, the racing god's perspective. Yeah. It doesn't. And when you sometimes take a horse out of their running style, it doesn't work out. Sometimes horses can't. I mean, Humberto might be sitting there in his room, in the jock's room, thinking, you know what, they're going to try and send this horse, and that is the worst thing to do.
Right.
You know, he might already know, and he's ridden him so many times in the morning, so you just never know. It's a very tough. The only person that thinks it's a good move is the ownership group at this point.
And Simon brought up a great point, too. So sometimes a lot of horses, if the connections think he's too far back and you try and keep him close, they lose that kick.
Right.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, how to kind of play and part with that.
Yep.
We are going to take our first break of the show. Straight No Chaser, the defending champion in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, trying to prove that he is still the fastest horse in the world. We'll have more from the sprint division as well. A lot of runners on the track this morning when the breakfast show continues.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all! Trillionaires!
Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because it's will be. Like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all,
Calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all. Calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
Burn of a 4-length lead at the top of the stretch here in the turf sprint. They come bounding by the 8th pole clear. Izzy Mungo Mungo tries to gain ground. Then AG Bullet. Starlust is rallying up the rail and they're getting to Cockburn now. Here comes AG Bullet. Here comes Starlust. Starlust comes from the clouds to win. AG Bullet in a photo with Motorius.
So last year, Motorius with a bang-up effort in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, though, redemption on the line as he wants to get that win this year.
Yeah, that was an absolutely brutal beat, just getting beat in nose there. And he's another one that loves it here at Del Mar. 4 wins from 5 starts with 1 second that we saw in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And I feel like he is primed coming off that win last out.
The 5/8 trip is perfect for him. We always talk about the 5, the 5.5, the 6, big difference. He's proven at the 5/8 trip. You don't look for him early. He's a horse that sits back and comes running late.
Let's take a look at Motorius' work from earlier today as we take a look out at Santa Anita on the training track there as he's getting into gear under the exercise rider for Phil D'Amato. He's going to go 5 furlongs in 101-1.
Yeah, and I think this time is absolutely perfect because if you look at his last 2 works, his last work, a Bullet, 59-1, 2 works back, 58-3. So Phil D'Amato just wanted a nice, easy work. Fitness, especially going 5/8. You don't need, 58 and gallop out a real strong 3/4 or 7/8. This is perfect. And as far as fitness, I think he's in really good shape. You could see his body language just really nice and relaxed going around there, ears kind of flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him on paper, he's a horse that really fires well fresh, right? He runs well off the layoff. Clearly, this is by design to come into the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint with no race. And Joe mentioned the workout pattern all summer, slow halves in 50. He's had the layoff, and they put 2 hard 5/8s in back-to-back to get that finish into him. And here he's just, this is an easy 101. Again, give you the time reference. This is right in the middle of between the slow time and the very fast time for a 5/8 work. So, yeah, they're sitting on go right here.
Yeah, this is perfect. And we're only less than a week out now, so this is exactly what they wanted, especially for, I know a lot of Phil D'Amato horses that maybe 2 works before the race, they'll have a sharp one, really strong gallop out. This work before, this is exactly what they wanted. Nice 101-1, not a big, strong gallop out because we're so close to the race. I think they got exactly
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints, or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
Guys, back here at Santa Anita Park, we've had one work done off the work list, and we're looking for a couple more coming up at the 7:45 break. We're actually making our way in this direction towards the barn, and Richard Mandela, he's going to send out Copion, who will face the boys in the Breeders' Cup, and also Bob Baffert slated to send out Explora. So we'll see who we can get with. Hopefully I can keep up with them. Motorius was very fast for me to walk with.
Michelle, thank you. And we want to see more of Winnie if Winnie's at the barns. That was a cute little Frenchie.
That was.
Oh, Jill's dog? Yeah.
Yeah. Scared, though. Absolutely frightened. Let's start talking about the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile presented by the PDJEF. Rhetorical, one of the names in there that we're going to focus in on right now. This was earlier today here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Under the cover of darkness, Rhetorical hit the track.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. They're pretty much improving every single race since starting back here, since his 4-year-old career in May for Will Walden. Ran 101 buyer in the turf mile last time out. And I mean, hard to knock him. He's 5 for 6 with 1/3.
He looked tremendous. I mean, we showed him working earlier this week. He's looked really good. And, boy, what a year this would be for, or I should say, what an end to a year this would be for trainer Will Walden in his young career. Could he pull this off? Horse that's heading in the right direction, no question about it.
I feel like for Will Walden, ever since he went out on his own, every single year, he's pretty much eclipsed wins and earnings the previous year. And no better than if he would get a win with this horse. And definitely has a really good shot. I mean, I like this horse's style, too, going a mile, because he kind of has that stalking speed where he can kind of get first jump on the deep closers.
But you were talking about the progression this horse makes. It gets better and faster in each start. Whether you're looking at Thorograph numbers, buyer speed figures, race times, the caliber of competition, every start this gelding just gets better and better and better. And even though this horse has tons of talent, you know a horseman like Will Walden is going to identify that talent very early on. He used the state bred. He used the New York bred. He kept this horse in state bred competition to kind of build that foundation and that resume up. And Rhetorical now has a date with Destiny in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, I think one of my favorite moments of the Keeneland Fall Meet was watching Rhetorical get Will Walden his first Grade 1 victory in the Keeneland Mile. But, Will, you and your two horses shipped in last night. How has everybody settled in?
Yeah, everybody settled in good. They got in about 10:30 last night and, got to bed late and got up early and went to work.
Rhetorical and Gordon Pass, who's going to be running in the juvenile turf, both jogged this morning. How did they adapt to the track and everything?
Yeah, no, they were both great this morning. Looked great on the track, and just didn't want to do too much. Just wanted to get their legs stretched and get them settled in. And yeah, I thought they both looked great.
For you personally, does it feel surreal to be here with your first Grade 1 winner?
Yeah, no, it's it's definitely a privilege. You got all the best horses and best horsemen all over the world. Out here to compete for the world championships, and there's nowhere else we'd rather be.
Tell us a little bit about Rhetorical and his personality as he tries to take a bite of your ankles.
Yeah, no, he's a good feeling gelding, and he's well traveled, so he usually settles in pretty good. He doesn't let the circumstances dictate his personality. He's himself, and we're just glad to be here.
And final works have been put in already, or should we expect them to see them stretch their legs here?
No, they're good. They worked. Both of them worked on Thursday. Thought both works from each horse was exactly what we wanted. Turf horses breezing on the dirt. We didn't want to do too much. Just kind of maintain them. And I thought they both went really well. Came out of it great, and just hold them over till Friday and Saturday.
Well, Will, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure catching up, and looking forward to see both your horses throughout the week.
Thank you.
All right, guys, walking out with Kopion right now. I feel like anytime there's a good horse working, Mike Smith is around. So Mike Smith going to be aboard here. She is equipped with her usual fuzzy reins. We see her all the time. I don't know if Mike Smith is going to let her stand and pose and get petted and loved on pre-Breeders' Cup work, but that's kind of her typical MO. Actually, I just saw Explora go out, so right in front of her, Chili, to your right is Explora. So these two fillies going to be working at the same time for the 7:45 break. Taylor, how far are we going today? Half a mile from the gate? Oh, I was like, holy cannoli. Half mile from the 3 here, in company or by ourselves? By herself. Are we looking for something easy or something strong? All right, a little bit of speed to make her kind of sharp. She is coming out of a longer distance race, so we want to make sure she's quick to go. So nothing too fast, but look for a little bit of sharpness here for Kopion, putting on her final moves. And up there, we'll try and catch up with Explorer, but it's going to involve running. I don't know. Chili, can you run? The one thing we know is...
Well, Kopion looks great. I don't know about the exercise rider, though.
Yeah.
That guy know anything about getting a horse around the track?
I think he's ridden a few before.
And real quick, I know we're looking at it, but the big decision to go in the Breeders' Cup Sprint with Kopion, right?
It's a decision that you'd rather take on Straight No Chaser and Ben Tornado than Sweet Azteca.
Well, and you're undefeated at 7 furlongs.
Well, that's the topic for discussion. That discussion in a little bit. That's Darth Vader as George Weaver's trainee in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. On screen right now, this is your Grade 1 winner in the Ogden Phipps earlier this summer at Saratoga. See if that Saratoga form ships to the West Coast. We'll be back right after this with more on breakfast at the Breeders' Cup.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
Calling all, calling all, calling all. Trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all, calling all, calling all. Trillionaires. Calling all, calling all, calling all. Trillionaires. Calling all.
Calling all Thrillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
He's inside the 20. End zone. Touchdown.
The lead belongs to Epic Ride. He is showing them a clean pair of heels.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Assistant trainer Blair Golan about to send Dorth Vader out for her final preparation. Blair, what kind of work are we looking for here?
Just a maintenance half, just like a 25-24. I know this track can be a little quick, so, you know, 20, 28, or 48 and change. 49 would be perfect.
Okay, good to know that Raul won't get in trouble if he goes 48 or 49. In terms of a gallop out, we'll kind of just be conservative as well?
We'll let her do her own gallop out. We will not ask her. We'll just let her do what she wants to do.
And what is she like as a workhorse overall? Obviously, she's going to be working solo here. Is she kind of a more modest one? Is she more aggressive?
She can be aggressive. So she can be aggressive early on, but we always leave Raul to breeze her. And, you know, I'm not worried. So.
For me, she has been a horse who has really caught my eye every single morning. How do you feel like she's adapted to everything?
I'm happy with her. She's eating well. She's been very professional, not too quiet because you always worry about that. But I've been happy with her overall.
Blair, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's the first time I've ever seen Blair Golan, but my goodness, she's all business, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Wow, I was very impressed there. She knows everything going on, and she was direct to the point. She's like a reporter's dream. Easy to interview and gives you all the answers you want. Let's get out to Santa Anita, Kopion on the track. Mike Smith, the Hall of Famer, who holds the record for most Breeders' Cup wins in the irons for the work. Yes, he does. He does moonlight as a gallop boy every once in a while, but the Hall of Famer going to take this one around the track.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things going on here. We talked about the decision to go in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, cross-entered in the Filly Mare Sprint. The Filly Mare Sprint is at the 7/8 distance. This race at 6 furlongs against the boys. Richard Mandella elected to go here, apparently, which, you know, on face value, surprising. She's undefeated at 7/8, Joe. And secondly, Kazushi Kimura has been the regular rider here. Just wondering if there's going to be a rider change with Mike Smith working her here.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. And Mike, who is going to ride tomorrow in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and then Kopion there. Another thing about Kopion, too, which is interesting, she's never raced that 3/4 of a mile. So that's going to be her first time actually cutting back in distance, going 6 furlongs in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
I do like her cutting back, Mike. I mean, they tried to stretch her out in the Clement Hirsch, right? She stretched out a couple of times, and they're the two, I would say, lackluster performances in her. One was she was being 16 length in the Santa Anita Oaks. The last race wasn't bad. She's behind Seismic Beauty, you know, who's a very good filly. So I think she's so much better at one turn, and the past performances would suggest that.
I will say this. If you look at her best races, like the Derby City Distaff, and I know that was on an off track, you look at her Santa Monica at 7 furlongs, the numbers that she runs, be them Beyer speed figures or Thorograph or whatever you want to use, they actually fit pretty well in the sprint. There's only a handful of horses in this field that have gone as fast, if not faster than her, as we take a look at this spin.
Yeah, this worked, Joe. I don't know whether, you know, they were talking about getting some more speed in it. This looked like Mike was just going 3/8, and he dropped down in the saddle and got a real sharp work in it, right?
Yeah, I bet you this is a 35, something like that, and change. Because her last work was 112. I'm sure that was her big work. So you could tell when Mike left the pole there at about the 3.5, he was getting down like he was 18 again, kind of shoved the reins at her, and this is probably exactly what they wanted to do.
He might be in better shape than when he was 18.
I think so.
He looked like a lizard on a log.
Yes, he did.
Looked like a lizard on a log.
But actually, this is, I think, a perfect work, what they wanted, because she's coming out of a 1 1/16 race at 3/4. If she doesn't have some sort of sharpener, I mean, she could lose 4 or 5 lengths out the gate, not even getting shut off just from coming from those longer races.
All right, let's take a look at a contender in the juvenile fillies. That's Explora for Bob Baffert. As Explora out there trying to get some fitness in her. This filly coming off an impressive win in the Oakleaf on the 4th of October at Santa Anita.
Yeah, second in the Del Mar debutante, too. She did break her maiden here, going 5.5 furlongs at Del Mar. And that was a good effort in the Oakleaf. That was her first time stretching out to 2 turns, and typical Bob work. I'm sure we're going to see something sharp today.
Yeah, I mean, look, anything that she did early on sprinting is a bonus, right? Because look at her pedigree. She's by Blame. She's by a Breeders' Cup Classic winner out of a mare who won the Preakness. So distance is going to be her friend, and it proved to be that in the Oakleaf. That was a very impressive performance. She relaxed. thing I like about Bob Baffert's horses, they show a lot of speed early on as a 2-year-old, but they're not rank. They're just naturally fast. And then what he likes to do after a couple of sprints, if they're going to be good 3-year-olds, is teach them to relax. Sometimes he'll take the blinkers off. Look at what he did with her. Two starts with blinkers off. He sends them long. He takes the blinkers off. She sits off the pace by a length, 2 lengths in the early stages of the race. Very nice workout here.
And she's working without the blinkers. Should make note of that. But she is super talented, and in just 3 starts, she's really proven herself to be a legit contender in this Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
And Simon, you make such a great point about that with Bob's horses. I think that's why the longer they go, they're that much tougher to beat because they have that relaxing speed.
Yes.
They can get, if they're not in front, they're laying second or third, just cruising, where other ones are going to have to make up 3 or 4 lengths, and then by the time they turn for home and they switch leads, they take off and the race is done.
Let's check in with Joaquin Jaime once again.
Yeah, Mike, we got a new face that's right behind me. This is going to be the Ontario bred in Gas Me Up. We take you to the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile division, where there were 15 horses pre-entered in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. Who was actually on the AE list. He was on the outside looking in, but because of a couple defections in the FanDuel Mile now, Gas Me Up is now drawn in to the body of the field. He's been in against Stakes Company in his last couple starts. He won the King Edward 2 back going 8 furlongs at Woodbine, comes off a 3rd place finish where he wasn't far behind Notable Speech in the Grade 1 Woodbine Mile in his most recent start. He's been to California before. He's an Ontario bred, but started his career with Peter Urton here in Southern California, finished 4th in the Zuma Beach when he was a 2-year-old. He's now a 5-year-old, making his 10th lifetime start in the mile as he comes in here off that 3rd place finish in the Grade 1 Woodbine Mile. Mike, he just got into town. He just got into town late last night. He went from Toronto at Woodbine, had a little bit of a layover in Florence, Kentucky at Turfway Park. Then from Turfway, he made his way out here to Southern California at Del Mar. So with him getting in late last night, just going to be an easy day. We'll get our introduction to him on the racetrack as he's getting tacked up here in just a moment. The plan for Gas Me Up, him and the team just going to go out for an easy 1-mile jog coming up here in just a little bit.
I highly recommend going back and watching his King Edward victory. He was very good that day, and he ran a bang-up 3rd in that Woodbine Mile that we were just talking about. He's got a task in front of him because that Breeders' Cup Mile is always a tough race, and there's some real runners in there. But he's a nice horse. Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely going to have to run one of his best races. He's coming off a respectable 3rd place finish in the Woodbine Mile where he ran a 94 bar, but clearly he's going to have to step it up even more in the Breeders' Cup.
Well, we saw one Derby winner already today. Here's another as we've got Mystic Dan on the track. There's a look at Mystic Dan as he has made his way to Southern California. He was not only was he a Derby winner, he won one of the most exciting renditions of the Derby we've ever seen. Part of that Hall of Fame weekend for Kenny McPeek where he swept the double of the Oaks and the Derby. And Mystic Dan has been finding himself back in the winner's circle in these greatest stakes as he's rounded back into form as a 4-year-old.
And let's not forget, in that Derby, he beat Sierra Leone, last year's Classic winner. 3rd in that race was Forever Young, who we know how good he is.
Here's a look at Kentucky Derby winners that have gone on to win graded stakes multiple times as an older horse. So Mystic Dan, 2 graded stakes wins as a 4-year-old this year. Of course, California Chrome, one of the greats of all time, with 5 graded stakes victories after his 3-year-old campaign. And Funnyside stuck around till the age of 6. He, New York bred, was very good, won the Jockey Club Gold Cup amongst others.
Yeah, because he was a gelding. Why that list is so small is historically Derby winners get retired at the end of their 3-year-old year, right? Yeah. You don't see many hang around in their 4-year-old years. Funnyside a gelding, so he hung around. California Chrome. Obviously, that ownership group wanted to continue to race him, which was great. So I'm pleased Mystic Dan stuck around. He kind of lost his track a little bit, but he came back strong this year with a couple of graded stakes wins.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he is kind of rounding back into form, which he needs to be. This is when you need to be in absolute peak condition coming into the Breeders' Cup here. And even that win last time out in the Lucas Classic, he didn't have the best of trips. He was inside, had to wait a little bit, checked, and then finally got through. Ended up winning by 3/4 of a length. But he's what I would call a really good position horse, especially when Brian Hernandez would ride him. He would break, just get to the inside rail, you know, kind of that first flight, and then try and get first run on the closer stand. So I would kind of look for a similar trip in the Breeders' Cup.
And as Kenny McPeek confirmed yesterday, Francisco Arrieta will be riding him. He worked him. We showed you yesterday, or I think it was a couple of days ago, Mystic Dan working. So Francisco Arrieta retains the mount. Brian Hernandez, if you're not familiar, suffered a serious injury. Came back 3 weeks after that, galloped horses at Churchill. My guess, reading between the lines, probably didn't feel 100%, so Francisco riding the horse.
Right, and Brian Hernandez, he's an elder statesman at this point. I think of him as, the young Brian Hernandez, but he's an elder statesman. He's a veteran rider. He's going to make the right decision. You jockeys, you're so pressured to come back as fast as possible before you're physically fit. But I also think Brian, he has a great relationship with Kenny. He's not going to do wrong by the horse by coming back too soon and compromising Mystic Dan's chances of winning. So it was the right call, I'm sure, all around. But also Brian Hernandez, a rider, you can trust to make that right decision.
And I love the not being selfish as a rider, because you alluded to it. A lot of guys would have came back early and still ride being hurt. But to your point, him and Kenny have such a great working relationship moving forward. So I definitely think Kenny respects that.
Okay, Michelle Yu has the times as we check in with her at Santa Anita for the most recent workers. Anything jump off the stopwatch at you?
Well, I heard Joe guess 35 and change for Copian as she leaves right here. The official clockers are going to give her 33 and 1. Now, you did hear Taylor say they're going to go from the 3.8, so really they wanted to go a half, so past the wire, but their official time is going to be that very, very snappy 33 and change here. Also, you guys saw Explora working. She's going to be given an official minute and a fifth for that move.
We'll just walk beside her. Yeah, Michelle, we're walking out with another horse right here. We go to the Breeders' Cup Distaff Division. You see Regaled right in front of us walking out for trainer Whit Beckman. 4-year-old daughter by Mo Heyman. Her little sister, you'll remember her back from the Kentucky Oaks. Her little sister was Drexel Hill, who ran second as a big long shot in the Kentucky Oaks earlier this year. Look, Regaled just a few months ago, she was a $300,000 purchase in a digital sale. Since that time, second in a stakes race. Then she was third in the Locust Grove at Churchill. Most recently put it all together in a big win by 6 lengths in the Grade 3 Delaware Handicap. She's stepping out onto the racetrack right here at Del Mar. She's not going to work today. The plan for her, guys, she's just going to back up to the middle of the stretch at the 16th pole. She's going to gallop about 1 3/8 miles here in just a moment for Regaled. So, Mike, she walks out to the racetrack. I'm going to walk back to the barn of Mike McCarthy's right now. The dust is kind of settled for him just a little bit. Clearly, it's been a busy morning. We'll hear from trainer Mike McCarthy and his thoughts on journalism work from earlier today.
Joaquin, great stuff. Joaquin's probably 8,000 to 10,000 steps in from the 15,000 he usually walks in these morning shows, and no one's ever even offered him a golf cart. Great work. I want to get back to something we just heard from Michelle Yu. The time for Copian's work, very fast.
Yeah, 33 and change, 5-6 days out. That's clipping along pretty good. I'm not quite so sure Richard Mandella wanted to go that quick, but I think they definitely put the speed in her that she's going to need for the sprint.
Yeah, I mean, that's as fast as you're going to go in the morning for 3/8 of a mile. I don't think I'd be too concerned. This is something that old school trainers used to do 2 or 3 days before a race. The late Mel Studi, I used to watch him at Hollywood Park a couple of days before a race, 35, 34 and change, which is fairly quick. And the idea is to give them a real sharp blowout, put some speed. That filly will probably be bouncing off the walls tomorrow after doing that.
And that is old school Hall of Fame connections. Mike Smith working it for Richard Mandel. They know what they're doing. They've been here before. Let's take a look. This is what the 3/8 work looks like, Simon.
So I set this up, and on the left-hand side, 39 would be slow. That's a tremendously slow one. On the fast end, I had 34. So Copian's breaking land speed records.
She broke the barrier,
Yeah,
Simon.
she broke the barrier. So, 33, exceptionally fast, but she's an exceptionally fast filly.
We're going to take another look at it. So here's Copian. Now we're looking at it with the knowledge of just how fast she went. 33 and 2. But it's the Hall of Famer Mike Smith in the irons. I want to ask you this, Joe, as we're watching this. He can feel her. He knows how she's moving, right? So is the time of that much import, or is it more how she feels to the rider who's done this a million times before?
I think how she feels, and not only that, she's a really, really nice filly, and really good horses can go quick. You know, it's not like this is a maiden that's never won before. I mean, it's totally different when you have a lesser quality horse that goes 33 and change and then a multiple Grade 1 winner like Copion. Totally different. And saying that, I guarantee his instructions were they wanted a sharp word.
Exactly.
Especially, I've worked quite a few horses for Richard Mandella. Very rarely do you see him break off horses like that with the loose rein and actually ask them to go. A lot of times they're in the bit. So I guarantee 100% Mike Smith's instructions were we want a very sharp work today. And I think they got that.
Yeah, I do. And I think, again, sometimes you have to take your eyes off the clock and watch the work. Yeah, she was being but she wasn't flat out. I mean, he was just smooching to her in the middle of the racetrack. She was doing it all by herself. And another thing I'll say about a 3/8 work, you could take 99% of the horses on the backside from maiden claimers all the way to Grade 1. They could all work 3/8 in 34, 35. I mean, it's just fact.
Yeah, because it's more than just how fast they're going.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, there's a lot more to it. Let's get to it with Dorth Vader. We saw her tacked up, talked to the assistant trainer. She's on the track right now getting ready for her work. And there's a look at her as she's about to break into it.
I tell you what, and she's coming into this race, I feel like in peak form. Since her 5-year-old campaign started off back in March in an allowance race at Gulfstream Park, Simon, just about every single one of her races has improved on the Beyer scale.
Yeah, I think distance has been a friend. It's kind of helped her. Look, she's only won one race in the last 2 years, and that was the Ogden Phipps. And she blitzed that field by 4 lengths. It wasn't the strongest Ogden Phipps, but it doesn't matter. And she's come back with the best race of her life against Torpedo Anna. She's a filly, or a mare, I should say, at the age of 5, that's still improving. She's looked very good earlier this week. There she is, just having a workout right now. She's got that figure 8 noseband, that's that cross noseband across the bridge of her nose there, just to keep her mouth closed and give the rider a little more control. You can see she's a filly that probably likes her work in the morning. She's traveling very nicely here.
Yeah, she looks really good. Stride now, you can see the rider not asking her for anything, just trying to coast along. Nothing too serious because we're less than a week out here, but I really love the looks of this work. And that last race really stood out to me in a personal lens, and getting beat a nose to Torpedo Anna. Run a turn when they hooked up, it looked like she was going to get the best of her that day. I thought that was one of her best races in defeat.
And she was 9 clear of the 3rd place finisher that day. And the good thing about it, she's had so much time since then to recover from that huge effort.
Nicely done from Dorth Vader. We saw Gas Me Up making her way out to the track for Kevin Attard. Let's take a look at Gas Me Up on the track, getting ready to roll here. Gas Me Up, of course, up against it in the Turf Mile, but was a nice winner of the King Edward. That was perhaps her best race, and she ran a great 3rd in the Woodbine Mile against Notable Speech last time out.
Yeah, on a Beyer scale, 94 was his best Beyer last time out, running 3rd in the Woodbine Mile, but definitely really has to run one of the best races of his career in here.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the concern. All these races around one turn, right, up at Woodbine. I mean, this horse.
That's another good point.
Yeah, this horse has been at Del Mar, formerly trained by Peter Urton. So we got a little bit of a running line on his form in Southern California several years ago now. So he obviously clearly had some major physical issues. Missed the whole of 2023. Only one start in 24. And it's been a great reclamation project, if you will, to make this horse a Grade 2 winner. But yeah, 2 turns and trip is going to be the key because they come from far back.
Gas Me Up right now on the outer rail there, just taking it all in. Did we hear the plan for Gas Me Up today? Was this horse scheduled to work, or is this just a gallop?
I'm looking at this horse, the way they're dressed up with polos.
It looks like, I was going to say polos.
And the rings on the horse and stuff.
The long reins.
Yeah.
I would have to think just maybe jog one, gallop one, or just jog today. That's kind of what it looks like.
Joaquin?
Yeah, guys, just chiming in on the plan here for Gas Me Up. Since he got in late last night, had a long travel day going from Woodbine to Turfway to California. The plan here, guys, as you see Gas Me Up on the screen, just going to be an easy 1-mile gallop this morning.
So an easy 1-mile gallop. Give me the maintenance routine when we're not breezing horses, Simon. Just general broad strokes. What does a 1-mile gallop do for a horse? What's the clip they're going at? How much different is that from when they're trying to work them in a 1/2 mile or 5/8?
Sure. So let's take it from a day after work. Say a horse works Okay, on said specific day. The day after, 90% of them usually walk. They'll spend a day in the barn walking or jogging. This is considered jogging. Obviously, they're going the wrong way or clockwise on the racetrack. And then the second day after work, most horses will gallop. And what that means is that in European terms, they're going to canter. So to what Joe referenced earlier, for a time perspective, everything in North America is dictated by times, the workouts, as you can see throughout this show. 18 seconds of furlong would be kind of a standard gallop. There's something called a 2-minute lick. What a 2-minute lick is, that means that you're going to gallop a mile, but every eighth of a mile will be 15 seconds. 15 seconds times 8, that will give you a 2-minute lick. It's 2 minutes. So that's a faster gallop. That's I would say an up-tempo gallop. And when you're working, we've given you the times when they're working. But 18 to 19 seconds average gallop, 20 on the slow side, 15 on the quicker side.
So Kevin Attard is a trainer who's very well known in Canada, slightly less known here in the States. But he is no stranger to success at the highest levels of this game, including one of the all-time greats he trained in Moira. Let's take a closer look at Kevin Attard.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup, Filly and Mare Turf. Moira in hand, 6th on the outside. Moira now moves up from full count. Felicia coming to the finish. Go Canada!
So I was born into a family of horse racing, grew up grooming horses, did a little bit of exercise riding them as well. And then I became my dad's AT, and it just all kind of blossomed from there. I really enjoyed being with horses. I thought I had a connection with them. I really believed in myself and thought that I would be successful at what I did. It wasn't an easy road. I almost gave up. I almost quit the game. Had a young family, recently married, 2 young kids, bought a home, and it just wasn't paying the bills. But luckily, I got a second chance. There were some clients that came to me, and they gave me some horses, some homebreds, and kind of got the ball rolling. Donato approached me about putting a group of people together to buy some Canadian breds and try to win the Queen's Plate. Moira was one of the first horses to be purchased in that group, and sure enough, as Donato said, he looked for a Queen's Plate winner, and we found one.
The Queen's Plate is a big win for Moira. She is stunning, wins 6 lengths.
That was obviously, just the beginning of a great journey that I think nobody could have envisioned how it would turn out afterwards. Moira ran 3rd in the 2023 Breeders' Cup. Just watching her run down the lane and being in contention, it was an unbelievable feeling. You definitely have that taste that you want to come back and obviously prove to the world that you belong. And we had unfinished business. The whole season went really well for her, but as we got closer to the Breeders' Cup, it was just something different about her, I thought. And luckily, everything just kind of went to plan. For a Canadian kid coming in from Woodbine, it was pretty surreal to watch. When I see Moira make that sort of kick, the wire can't come soon enough at that point. But when it did, and she was in front, Grace, my wife, my daughter.
Moira, 3rd time's the charm. Congratulations.
Something I'll never forget. And I don't know if she knew, but she gave it all. And it was just great. Obviously miss her a lot. It was hard to see her go through that sale. She became so important in my life. And I feel like a sap crying, but you get so emotionally attached to these animals that I think people don't realize how much you do love them. That's her right there. When you're Canadian, it's a small list of trainers that have been lucky to win this race. So for me to be in that club, in a sense, it means a lot to me. I'm one of the fortunate ones, I guess, that can claim a Breeders' Cup win, and hopefully it's the first of many more to come.
And it's something that I don't think we capture enough in this game is, I mean, the tears of joy and that emptiness when she left the barn. I mean, we do this because we love the horse, and I think people don't understand just how much the horse means to these connections.
Well, circle back to what he said earlier, too. He almost got out of the game.
Yeah.
It was so hard. I mean, that's how hard horse racing is. It's not all sunshine and rainbows every day. I mean, you go through a lot of ups and downs, and to Kevin Atord's, I mean, you just keep barreling through.
Yep, it is. I mean, it's an extremely tough business, and that name is synonymous with Canadian racing. The Tards, they go on. There's a million of them up there.
Yeah, and none of them are bad.
No.
They're all, I mean, I think when your name is a Tard, you're born with like a 15 to 20% win clip as is. At any rate, a great look at Moira. We're going to take a look back at journalism's work. The time is in now. We have it official. Here's a look at how far he went. It was a 5/8 work, Simon. And you said that perfect work would be somewhere in the 101, 102 area?
Yeah, right in the middle of that bar at the bottom there, you see. That would be, knowing this horse, knowing Michael McCarthy, the way he trains, and knowing what he was looking for, 101 and change would be perfect.
So Jose Ortiz, once again, comes in from Kentucky. He's on a plane as we speak, flew out of Carlsbad here, and he's on his way back to Kentucky. He's got a full docket of racing this afternoon. But here he is aboard journalism. It's the first time he's ever had a chance to get on the back of this magnificent athlete. And they went 101 and 2, right in the sweet spot.
I think this was, time-wise, if you would have asked Michael McCarthy, I think he would have said this is absolutely perfect time I would want, because he's going to get just enough out of it, but not too fast. And we're only 6 days out, so I feel like at this point, the worst you could do is going too fast, because you would take way too much out of him before each race.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, like we said, we got a rider jumping on this horse for the first time, just absolutely nailing the time. But give a little credit to the rider and the other horse as well, because he's kind of setting the tempo of this work, right? Jose's following, so the exercise rider, I believe, on the inside horse has done a great job in nailing this time, 101 and 4/5.
And you bring up a really good point too, Simon. A lot of times, and I don't know if the rider in front had a earpiece on or something,
Sure.
but a lot of times they'll have walkie-talkies, kind of as an insurance policy. Just a lot of times the trainer will be telling them the splits and whether to slow down, speed up, and you can see Jose Ortiz looking like an absolute statue on journalism there, and I really, really love this work. For me, this is 5 out of 5, and the time I thought couldn't have been any better. I think he's going to get just enough out of this work moving forward, only being 6 days out.
I mean, any other year he's a Triple Crown winner. It's amazing. You think about how good this horse is. If it wasn't for Sovereignty, he's putting his name up there with journalism and American Pharoah as the Triple Crown winners this century. But Sovereignty in the game, he's only won one of the 3. Let's check in with Joaquin Jaime, who's standing by with Michael McCarthy.
Well, here, trainer Mike McCarthy sent out journalism for a work earlier this morning here at Del Mar, his 6th work since the Pacific Classic. What was the plan earlier this morning, and what'd your eyes see?
Just more or less a leg stretcher. Nice to have Jose be able to come over here and sit on him. I was just looking for more or less maintenance work. I thought his body of his work was very good, and then obviously went from the wire to the 7/8 pole, shading 11 and 2. I thought that was pretty impressive. Jose was happy with him. Just more or less looking for the two of them to get familiar with each other.
When you look at his body of work, as you're referencing, from his first race early this year in March all the way until now, even when you look at his morning drills, what do you think it is about your horse that allows him to be so consistent in the morning and in the afternoon and show up every single time?
Yeah, I think might be a year ago today that he's made his first starter sometime around this time of year. But he's a horse that's always been very professional, been very, been forward with everything. He would, as a young horse, gallop as fast or as slow as his company, well schooled behind the gate in different types of situations, different racetracks, shipping to run and stuff like that. He's just been a professional all the time.
How do you feel now? Horse in the Breeders' Cup Classic, going to be one of the top choices, has his final work, the jockey comes in for the work with all of that. How do you feel now that the dust has settled this morning?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with whatever happened, Look, it's going to be arguably the best Classic I think we've seen in maybe 20 years, something like that. Very good horse in Sovereignty. Fierceness, don't need to, you guys saw what he did here in the Classic. So and about 5 or 6 others. You know, Sierra Leone, the reigning Breeders' Cup Classic winner. So, look, I'm just worried about my horse. I can't worry about anybody else.
What do the next few days look like for journalism? Obviously, a work today, but say the next 2, 3, 4 days, what's it look like?
Easy day tomorrow. Get back, jog a day, gallop a couple of days, and kind of just let him kind of stay in his routine.
I feel like when the Breeders' Cup's been here at Del Mar, you've generally stayed at Santa Anita versus getting here early. What went into your decision to get your athletes here early and get them down to Del Mar?
Sleeping in my own bed down here.
I can't blame you.
Been on the road a little bit, and they kind of bouncing from house to house for a little while here since these fires. But no, just wanted to get them down here. It's nice and quiet here. The racetrack is as good as anywhere in America. So more or less just wanted to get them in their routine, get them bedded down, and have an easy week for them.
Michael, appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Good luck in the Breeders' Cup this year.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can't worry about the other horses. And look at Michael McCarthy's record in the Breeders' Cup. Pretty good. 19 starters, 2 wins, 2 other in-the-money finishes. He won his first Grade 1 event with Illuminant in the 2016 Gamely, so 9 years ago. He had the Dirt Mile Pegasus Cup winner City of Light in 2018, who was tremendous. Cece second in the Filly and Mare Sprint, a race that she was, she won it in 2021 in the Filly and Mare Sprint. And that was his second win. And then Rombauer, of course, winning the Preakness. Journalism winning the Preakness again for him. Runner-up finishes in the Derby, the Belmont, and the Pacific Classic. Smooth Like Straight, Speech, Rushy, Paved. There goes Harvard. Some of the top horses that Michael McCarthy has trained throughout his career. And he has won multiple Grade 1s. Preakness, Pegasus World Cup, Dirt Mile, Filly and Mare Sprint, Apple Blossom, the Kilroe, and the Ashland, among others.
Yeah, and he brings up, I mean, again, we're talking about things happening off the track. We talked about what happened with Riley Mott and the Mott family. What about him? And he referenced there in the interview the Alhambra fires. I mean, he's bounced around from house to house. He was, I don't know whether he's even back in his own home now, but it's been a tough year for Michael McCarthy off the racetrack.
And I know we talk about Will Walden and his short career ever since he went out on his own. Every year he's kind of eclipsed his earnings and wins. I feel like the same with Michael McCarthy. When he was a long-time assistant trainer to Todd Pletcher, and when he took out his trainer's license, I feel like every year just slowly got to the top. And then once he got really good horses, even before journalism, we saw City of Light, who's turned into a very successful sire. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better each year.
Both those guys, everyone probably thinks, oh, they started with 30 horses. No, both started with, I think Will Walden started with 4, Michael McCarthy was 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And they built their stable themselves. And I tell you what, Michael McCarthy, he paid his dues. I mean,
yes.
He worked for Todd Pletcher. His wife was out in California. The family was split for 10 years back and forth while he was based back east. And I wish him all the success that he has.
Continue our division watch in the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. As you can see, I mean, these 6 horses. Any given year, you might have 1 or 2 like this in the Classic. To have all 6, Sovereignty, Journalism, Sierra Leone, Mindframe, and Fierceness. And then there's Forever Young. Won the Saudi World Cup, was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Classic back in 2024, and that was behind one of the best performances for a runner-up we've ever seen in Fierceness, and then, of course, the winner, Sierra Leone. Here is Forever Young, who stopped by the set to say hello to us yesterday out on the racetrack live.
He looks so good. That was so cool. I hope he comes again today. He was another one. His demeanor, it's just so impressive how they're able to walk like that, because I know we touched on it a little bit yesterday. A lot of American-style horses, when they get on the track, they know it's go time, whether they're going out for a jog,
Correct.
gallop, or work. But you notice that with the Europeans and right here with the Japanese horse Forever Young, that they could almost care less whether they're in the paddock or on the racetrack.
Yeah, because when horses come from a foreign country, United States, that's not the case with Forever Young because he's been here so many times. They're not accustomed to seeing so many horses going in different directions. I mean, they don't have horses coming at them. In Europe, they're walking, single file, out in the training centers. I'm guessing he's going to the gate, maybe stand in the gate as he's going back there to the top of the chute. But this is what they do. They're out of the stall an hour and a half before they train, probably an hour after before they train, an hour and a half after they train. So they're very accustomed to being relaxed and walking around.
I keep seeing Forever Young, and the only thing that distracts me from that animal is the jacket with his name on it. I need to get one of those.
Yep.
Yeah, that does look
I'm
cool.
going to check in with my jacket vendor later in the meet, Mr. Yoshido Yahagi.
It's going to go. I'm sure they're going to stand at the gate. And the Japanese contingent well represented again this year. Well represented last night in the Dodgers game. Go Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yeah, the exercise rider last year, I think it was during this time, he wore a Dodgers because Shohei was playing in
Right.
the World
No
Series.
way.
He wore
Oh,
a
that's
Dodgers
cool.
shirt for training one morning after a victory.
As Forever Young walking behind the starting gate. Where do we put him in this Breeders' Cup Classic picture, Joe? Do you think he's got as good a shot as any to beat Sovereignty?
I mean, I really do. I mean, just look at his race last year. He was only 2 lengths behind Sierra Leone in fierceness, and he was right up on that fast pace too. Remember, they went 44-4, going 1.25 miles, which I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, they run sprints that fast sometimes. So I mean, to be only 1.5 lengths off that pace and still hang around for third, I kind of think of fierceness. He was right up on that pace. So for those two to even be somewhat close around after being right up on that 44 and change is pretty remarkable.
He's had 2 races in the U.S., and his form has been the same in both. Consistently, the running lines through Sierra Leone. So he's just behind him. Okay, a little further in the Classic, but he was right on top of him in the Kentucky Derby. So just the 2 U.S. running lines. Forget the other races from overseas. Put him right there.
Well, the biggest running line on Forever Young's resume is the win in the Saudi Cup.
Sure.
He won that day. It's a $20 million race. He ran the fastest.
Bill Mott, how
Bill
we doing?
Mott's coming right by with Scylla. He's leading the pony this time, if you were wondering what was going on over our shoulders. But Forever Young, he ran on the Thorograph sheets. He's got the fastest number of any horse in the Classic. He ran a -5.5 in the Saudi Cup, which is just obscene. To put it in perspective, that's 3 to 4 lengths faster than any number that Sovereignty's run.
A -5?
A -5.5.
That's pretty remarkable.
So he's got that club in the bag where he can win. Now, like you said, the measuring stick has been Sierra Leone. He hasn't been able to get by him in 2 starts here in the U.S. He wasn't able to get by Fierceness in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Of course, Fierceness's race was all over at about the half-mile point in the Kentucky Derby, so you don't really want to use that. He was a speed horse that day. He got, run into submission by fast fractions. It happens to the best of them. But Forever Young, he's been right there. Can he turn the tables on those horses? That's the question.
I think he could. Why not? I mean, he's right there. I mean, a lot has to go right. You're going to see a couple of, I think they're just getting ready to put a couple of these in the starting gate.
He just looks, again, I can't say it enough, his demeanor back there. Because, I mean, especially behind the gate like that, they know what's going to happen a lot of times. When you go back there, very rarely, or I say very rarely, a lot of times when they get back there, they know what the starting gate's all about.
Right.
You're not going to see too many horses kind of cool, calm, and collected like that behind there. You would see them kind of jog or gallop in place, knowing that they're going to break out of there. So I just think that's so cool how he's just so relaxed back there.
So, Joe, if they ever let you out of the country, you have to get a passport, and it'll get stamped in different countries he goes to. Take a look at Forever Young's. As he departed Japan, he's been to Dubai, Saudi Arabia, the U.S., he's been everywhere, and it appears that he takes his racetrack with him. It doesn't matter the country, the hemisphere, or the racetrack. He brings his A game every time.
And that's what's so impressive, too. He's never been off the board. How many times over the years where horses that, whether they go to Dubai or Saudi, they need at least a 3, 4, 5 month break before they run their next race, and sometimes they'll still have kind of that bounce angle in it. I mean, I don't think there's any bounce at all with Forever Young and going with any of those racetracks around the world.
I mean, I hate to use the phrase, he's bomb-proof. Look at him back there.
Yeah.
Right? To Joe's point, most horses, when they get back there, they're going to need an assistant starter to walk him around or somebody, and he's just circling. He could stand there all afternoon.
Well, just wait till I bet him. I've seen a lot of horses bomb after I put my $2 on board.
Yeah, let me know who you're picking, Mike.
Let's talk Dirt Mile. I talked about his -5.5 that he ran in the Saudi Cup. The fastest Thorograph number, I haven't gotten them all in my form. The fastest Thorograph number I've seen of any horse in the Breeders' Cup belongs to this horse right here, White Abarrio. When he won the Whitney back in 2023 at Saratoga, he ran a -6. When he won the Breeders' Cup Classic that year, he was the favorite. And honestly, he isn't off form. He ran in the Whitney this year. He ran a -3, and he was, it's a dud in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. You can forgive that effort. If you can forgive that effort because the rider lost the irons and it was a wild race. We all saw what happened that day. But White Abarrio, he's got a lot of talent, but they're opting for the Dirt Mile. They're going back to the Dirt Mile. They're not going to take on the monsters in the Classic.
I mean, if he goes back to his classic race or the race at Gulfstream with the 109, 110 buyer, I mean, it's his race to lose. The problem is you don't really know who's going to show up. He's the type of horse that could win by 5 or 6, or he could finish 5th or 6th. So that's where it's so hard to kind of read in between the lines what type of form he's in.
I mean, they're making the right choice, in my opinion. I mean, we showed you the graphic with just the 6 main contenders up there. That would be enough to make me kind of try and go in a different direction and find a different spot, even if, you don't think the distance is quite right. But I think this is where he's got a better chance. I mean, you let the odds dictate, right? Would you rather be 15-1 in a race or, 6-7-1? So this is where he belongs.
As he's out there on the racetrack right now for Saffie Joseph Jr. Here are the returning Breeders' Cup champions this year. Citizen Bowl, your juvenile winner and champion 2-year-old of last year. Full Serrano trying to repeat in the dirt mile. White Abarrio, we just saw. He won the Classic 2 years ago, and he's trying to come back and win the dirt mile. You have Rebels Romance, who is a 2-time winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf, trying to become a 3-time winner. Sierra Leone, of course, your Classic winner from last year. Straight No Chaser, trying to win back-to-back sprints. And Fierceness, who was a juvenile winner in 2023.
I think the crazy part out of this whole list is how quiet everyone's been talking about Sierra Leone, or not, rather not talking about. I know there was an article in DRF talking about that. I mean, he's the reigning Breeders' Cup Classic winner and seemingly under the radar right now.
As it was last year, right?
Yeah.
Remember? Because he was always, everyone, he can't win because he's always, people thought he was a bit of a hanger, always finishing 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, he's a bit of a grinder, but he showed he was best last year. No reason he couldn't do it again this year as we take a look at Forever Young. We're going to take a break. Forever Young, walking around the racetrack. We'll have more on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup after this.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
Calling all, Thrillionaires. Calling all, Thrillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because it's will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all,
Thrillionaires. Calling all, Thrillionaires. Calling all, Thrillionaires.
Calling all Thrillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
He possessed such natural athleticism.
It is Golden Pal winning the Juvenile Turf Sprint.
He's very, very agile and quick.
Golden Pal has repelled the challenges.
Each and every race, he just got better and better.
Golden Pal broke like a rocket. Golden Pal, wire to wire.
It's a very confident horse.
Golden Pal, the lead is out to 5 lengths in deep stretch.
He's just got a brilliant mind.
They're all behind Golden Pal.
I'm going to be breeding everything I have to him.
The field now turns for home. The opening quarter in a sensational 21 3/5 seconds. Desert Stormer running the race of her life today. Down inside, Desert Stormer, Mr. Grilly, headlong into the final furlong. Beaver Golf Rose is running 3rd. Here comes Not Surprising, putting his late bid on the outside. Leader Justice coming with giant strides down the center of the track. Desert Stormer digging down deep, turning back the challenge of Mr. Grilly. Here's the line. Desert Stormer, a shocker to win it here by a head.
Desert Stormer for our former colleague Frank Lyons, winning the 95 sprint, a filly to beat the boys. Kopion taking a page out of that book.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. She's never going 3/4 of a mile before, but is 4 for 4, going 7/8, and her earlier work definitely put a lot of speed in her for that sprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision. You know, on face value, as an outsider looking in, you'd think but the best trip for her is 7-8. She's undefeated that distance. But Richard Mandella, who's one to question him? So going to be taking on Straight No Chaser and Ben Tornado as well. So that's going to be a deep race.
Yeah, far be it from any of us to question Richard Mandella. But it's not too far for Michelle Yu to question his exercise rider, Mike Smith.
A little bit of deja vu. I'm joined right now by Mike Smith, who is just imparting some knowledge on Diego Herrera. What kind of advice do you give younger riders?
Oh, what kind of advice? If you're having a dream that you go in the restroom, don't do it.
Mike, do you still get a lot of guys that come up and ask you for advice, though?
You know, I go off the Claiborne motto, man. Do the usual unusually well. That's kind of, I think that puts it all into perspective. It really does.
I like that. You just got off of Copion. Have you ridden her before in the mornings?
No, first time. So that was a treat and a half. Man, talk about trick or treat, man. That was a treat there, man. The idea was just to put some speed in her, to go 3/8, gallop out just about a half, and that's about it. Pulled her up at the half, jogged her for a little bit, and about 100 yards, maybe 50 yards before the 3/8 pole, I just sat down on her, and she took off like it was a match race, you know, and she was just cruising, though, really. I mean, she was still, believe it or not, very comfortable. It was a rhythm that she could handle very well. Matter of fact, I slowed her way down right after the wire and tried to not go out too quick, but I think she still went out in 46 and change.
Are you going to ride her in the sprint?
She's going in the sprint, I believe, against the boys.
Yes. What do you think about that, a girl against the boys?
I get to ride her, so I'm loving it. I love girls against the boys. You know, Zenyatta beat the boys in the Classic, so it would be amazing to beat the boys in the sprint.
I mean, this is kind of apropos because Mandella trained Beholder, and she beat the boys in the Pacific Classic, and you rode Zenyatta. I feel like this is a lot of stars aligning, Mikey.
It could happen. I mean, she's got that kind of ability. You know, you have to draw well and get the trip, but if given all that, she's not without a big chance to run well because she's doing extremely well.
I appreciate the time. We're going to go find her right now. I got to go give her some pets. She likes to be pet.
She looks great. She's happy right now.
She's happy. Anytime they get Mike Smith around, you're going to be happy. Thanks, Mikey. The money man, Mike Smith, was just aboard Copion. We're going to see if we can go find her and her trainer, Richard Mandella.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And ask and you shall receive. We just have Forever Young and the Japanese horses coming to say hello again here in the paddock as their routine. And you said they walk a lot in Japan and whatnot, so we'll have more of that. But very interesting to hear from, and again, I'm going to keep hitting this point home, that like schoolboy enthusiasm. He's like, oh, that was fun. Like riding, this is Mike Smith, a Hall of Famer who's won 27 Breeders' Cup races, and he's been on the best of the best. And he still gets the juices flowing to work a horse like that in preparation for the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, and he even told Michelle, too, how easy she was doing that. I know we kind of talked about that earlier. The way Copion moved, even though she went a quick 33 and change, she did that well within herself versus a cheaper horse that they would be all out and you would almost have to be in a drive for them to go that fast.
That's why it's important. I make this admonition every year on this show. You have to watch the video rather than look at the stopwatch because we can all look down in the form and see times. It's how the horses are doing it. So she was doing it very easy, well within herself. And, yeah, he's excited. I mean, reading between the lines, he's excited to get on it for sure.
We'll have more from Santa Anita a little bit. Here at Del Mar, we go to Joaquin Jaime because Madhouse making his way out onto the track for the sprint. Joaquin?
Yeah, Mike, staying with the Breeders' Cup Sprint Division, what a race that we have this year. Copion taking on the boys. Historically, fillies have always done very well in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Very subtle, Desert Stormer. Mia Farah, I know she didn't win in 92 and 93. She got ripped at the finish line in both of those races, but she ran incredibly well. But when you start looking at the filly and Copion taking the boys, the top two finishers from last year and Straight No Chaser, Ben Tornado, they are back. And one of the contenders that's going to be a long shot taking on those horses is who you're looking at right now. That is Madhouse, the Florida bred, coming in from Minnesota at Canterbury. Then he won the Gallant Bob over at Parks. Then he went back down to Florida where he trained at Palmettos. Last week, he had his last work October 22nd. That was on Wednesday, Blaze 47 at Palmettos. Then he arrived just the following day on Thursday, October 23rd. This is the very first morning that Madhouse is actually going to be hitting the track. Just had a long travel day going from Florida, had a stop over in Indianapolis before coming here to Southern California at Del Mar. He's figured it out, guys, in his last 4 races, 4 consecutive wins, and just taking steps up every single time. Maiden win, allowance win, optional claiming win. Then he gets his first graded stakes win here in the Gallant Bob, where he won by nearly 3 lengths. Is a big upset that day at odds of 23-1. As you watch him train here this morning, guys, it's going to be a very easy morning. Spoke to his trainer, David Van Winkle, a few moments ago. He's just going to jog just about a mile this morning here at Del Mar. And, Mike, when you look at the form, when you look at this win streak, and he's rattled off 4 consecutive wins, Harry Hernandez was aboard for 3 of those wins. Paco Lopez rode him in his most recent start. We're familiar with that story. David just informed me right now the new rider for Madhouse in the Breeders' Cup Sprint this year is going to be Luis Saez. Luis Saez is going to be aboard Madhouse, guys, as he goes for 5 in a row in the Breeders' Cup Sprint this year.
I mean, he's the sharp horse on the way out, on the way up, I should say. But the resume a lot lighter than some of the others in the sprint. There's a look at all those horses we've been talking about forever. Young, as he is making his usual walk around the paddock here. Probably walk for another 10, 15 minutes.
These horses get more than 10,000 steps in, let me tell you. We saw them behind the starting gate. That was about 15 minutes, right? And then walk down the track and then come here. So they got a lot. What else? Who else we got going on back here?
Well, we saw Scylla, but I think Scylla's left.
She left. She came in beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did he gallop already before?
Maybe.
the
Yeah.
game?
Yeah.
I'm wondering. What's up, Mary? Good morning.
I mean, hi to everyone else.
She only said hi
Mary.
to Joe. I guess
Yeah.
there's
I
one
don't know
celebrity
who
on the set. There's Argine again, the Japanese horse that we were talking about. And then behind Argine, we've got Forever Young. And then another sprinter there. I can tell by the saddle towel
American
color.
stage, I think.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
It's,
Good morning.
Forever Young
There
has
he
become
is.
as much a part of the show as Joe Talamo these days. There's a good look at him.
Everything good? Yep. So far, so good, huh? You went to the gate, right? Yeah.
Stood
Did he
okay?
stand in the gate? No. Just went back there.
There he is, and then he's on.
Konnichiwa.
What's that mean again?
Good morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
So don't say it afternoon.
Oh, it means hello, actually. So you can say it any time of the day.
I'll start practicing that.
We have we actually do have someone who's bilingual on this set, or on this show. It's Andy Biancone, as she's standing by with the Derby winner. Andy?
Well, we've got a couple of my favorite people on the wash rack here. Danny Ramsey, Luis Ramirez, and 2024 Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan. Well, the Kenny McPeak Brigade has made it into Del Mar safely. Danny, you were aboard Mystic Dan earlier. How does he feel?
He feels great. He's doing everything I asked him to do, and that's all I can ask him. You know, he's beautiful. He hits the ground good. He's galloping nice. So he just got to go out there and win nice.
Now, I know you've been on this horse early on in his career and haven't been on him all summer, but how does he feel in terms of a physical development from early on his career to now?
He's a little bit stronger now. Yes, he is. He was more finesse before, but now he's a little bit stronger. And you just got to go with him, you know.
Were you surprised when you jumped on him and felt that he was a little more on the bridle?
Not really, because he's a little bit older. You know, anytime horses get a little bit older, they do get a little bit stronger. I've been in the game from 1960, so I should know.
What is his personality like as a whole? I mean, he just seems very kind.
He's great. He has a personality like my wife. Great.
Well, we love great personalities. What's the plan for Mystic Dan over the next few days?
Well, just gallop, jog one, and jog around to the 5H pole, and gallop back to the 5H pole, and that's it.
When does the big boss Kenny get in town?
On Tuesday, between Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, we look forward to see Kenny here at Del Mar, and we'll keep an eye out for you and Mystic Dan on the track.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Arm wrestling match soon.
One more time. We got to go again.
Joined right now by Hall of Famer Richard Mandella, who just set out Copion for her final paces. Mike Smith getting acquainted there. What did you tell Mike beforehand?
I told him we're backing up, so from mile 16th to 6 furlongs, and let's liven her up a little bit and don't overdo it.
Are you happy with what she did?
Oh, she did. It was amazing. She went 33 and a fifth and looked like she was going 36, just galloping. It was pretty amazing.
That's exactly what Joe Talamo said watching live. We didn't have a clock. He said, oh, she's going 35 and change here. Easy. She's just effortless, right?
She's amazing right now.
And did part of that go into the decision to run her shorter against the boys rather than her 2-for-2 distance against the girls?
No. My big reason was selfish on my part to think to run 2 in one race, trying to guarantee a win, or not guarantee, but give myself a big shot. The 2 fillies, I think, are good enough that they deserve to have their own day.
I feel like I don't need to ask anything else from there. I appreciate the time, Richard.
Okay.
So he wants 2 in the same race. That makes a little more sense. He said it's a little selfish on my part. Give me a better chance.
No, I think he was splitting them up.
Oh, splitting them up.
Yeah.
Oh, you say, okay, it was good. He's splitting them up. You didn't want 2 in the same race.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so there is a look at horses on the track. Blackout time for Kenny McPeak. We are going to take a break. When we return, we'll have more action from Santa Anita and Del Mar as the breakfast shows continue.
Connect, a Grade 1 winning millionaire, making his mark as a sire with Rattle and Roll, a Grade 1 winning 2-year-old. Graded Stakes winners Whitwaters Rand, Implicated, Apple Picker, and Forever After All. Connect, a proven sire in the making, standing at Lane's End Farm.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. Take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred Racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Lead over Ben Tornado. The two of them locked in battle, and Straight No Chaser joins the fray on the outside with 1 furlong to run. Ben Tornado and Straight No Chaser. These two coming down to the line together. Straight No Chaser and Ben Tornado. Straight No Chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Ben Tornado was second, and then it was Mulligan.
Straight No Chaser for Dan Blacker, winning last year's Breeders' Cup Sprint under John Velasquez, wearing the silks of My Racehorse. Back for a repeat engagement, trying to win back-to-back Breeders' Cup Sprints.
Yeah, I mean, and he spent most of the summer or the year on the sidelines and came back with what I thought was a very good effort in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. I mean, he went fast. He looked like, and he ran like a horse that just got tired, Joe. He was right there till about the last 150 yards and then just emptied out a little bit. He should move forward from that.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about the Classic, such good matchups, but with Straight No Chaser, Ben Tornado, and even Kopion going in there now, this is going to be a very, very exciting race.
Earlier today, Simon Bray said, "God damn, who was that?" Well, that was Kadem, the horse on the track, and Andy Biancone is standing by with Kadem's exercise rider.
Well, it was an unforgettable performance in the Woodford when the 9-year-old Kadem rallied from off the pace. Here he is having a bit of grass, and here's Tori Knight, his usual exercise rider. But how long have you been working with Kadem?
Oh, I've been based with Charlie Hills for about 3.5 years now, and I've been over to America 3 times with him now since last year was our first time in Kentucky Downs. And this is now our 3rd trip here this year because he obviously was 3rd in Kentucky in August. Then he won the Grade 2 at Woodford, at Keeneland. And then, we've come here for sort of like his last little go in America because he's 9. And so he's great.
He was a champ this time at Kentucky Downs. I remember the first time I saw him, he was absolutely going bananas in the paddock. How rewarding is it to have seen that difference with him where he was so nervous and he has all of a sudden become so confident?
Yeah, it was great because I think just obviously it's so different to home. So his first time there, he just wasn't too sure on it. So it was great to see him really relaxed this year, and he saddled really well. And then each time he's just got better and better. So we're hoping that he can continue and he can be relaxed this time here as well.
How is he on the track? I know this was his first day in the track at 7:15 today.
Oh, he was amazing. So when we came over and we were in Churchill, he was not quite as compliant as I wanted him to be. But I think training over here has really helped him. He's just got into his routine. He was happy out. He just walked on. He trotted away from me and he felt amazing. Like he just went steady around there because obviously he flew in yesterday, so I didn't want to do too much. And I was so happy with him. The fact that he could relax and just enjoy it and nothing wound him up. So it just means we can have a great lead up into the race, hopefully.
And how is he on the track overall? Is he a strong gallop? Is he a feel-good kind of horse?
Oh, he's a really feel-good kind of horse. You know you're sat on quite a nice horse when you ride him. And he can get a little bit keen in his work, but his day-to-day routine, when he's that relaxed, he's a beautiful ride. You haven't got to worry. You can ride as long as you want and just enjoy yourself.
Well, Tori, we've certainly fallen in love with Kadem with his American campaign. Great job with him and best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So a feel-good horse, expand on that. What does that mean when a horse is feeling good?
I think just exactly what it means. Just feeling good. His energy's really good. And that's something that's important because he's a 9-year-old.
Right.
It's not like he's a 3, 4, 5-year-old that's coming in straight, fresh. But, I mean, he seems like he's in tip-top form coming off that Woodford win last time running in 96.5. But I still think he needs to improve a little bit to win the Breeders' Cup.
Feel-good horse. I tell you what a feel-good horse. It's the kid in class that can't sit still.
Me.
They're always
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to... This glossary of technical terms, feel good. Okay, got it.
That's exactly what it means.
Okay. Got the hard-hitting questions. Just call me Jane Pauley. Let's check in with Michelle Yu.
All right, Winnie was such a hit the other day. I had to find another adorable dog. This is Jeff Mullen's dog, Bailey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I like in my coffee. There's actually more down here. Look at this is Stetson, and what's the scary one? Ella?
That's Ella, yeah.
She's looking at me like she don't want me around this office, but Bailey doesn't mind. All right, so you had Intrepido work the other day, coming off his American Pharoah win. How good has this colt been since going 2 turns?
Well, I think that was the key, and we knew that from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first race was just a schooling race, and I told Julian, I said, just let him fall out and gallop along and make one move in the stretch and let him gallop out. And we were prepping for a mile in that race, and it worked out.
Did you think when you were coming out of his maiden, this horse is going to go on to win a Grade 1 in his next start?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, when you face winners and you face the company he faced, he had something to prove that day, and looks like he did it.
How did he work for you the other day?
He worked good. I mean, his works are always easy. We had Hector had his cousin working one day, and he worked really fast, and it was probably too fast, but he just cruises along, gallops out strong, and no need to change anything.
Do you think it's an advantage, the fact that you've had a race and a win over the Del Mar surface?
Yeah, I mean, it's always an advantage. It's nice to know that he gets over that surface well. So, it gives us a little bit of confidence going in.
This dog is so heavy. What do you feed him?
Dog food.
He looks so little. I need to change leads. Hold on. Oh, my. Oh. Okay, we've talked enough about your horse, Jeff. Tell me about the dog. Where'd you get the dog?
Online.
Online?
Mm.
Like Craigslist?
No, it's a dog. They sell all kinds of dogs, but yeah.
Well, it's so cute. Can I borrow the dog?
What are you going to borrow her for?
I feel like she wants to work with me today.
I guess so.
All right. Well, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate the time. Come on, Bailey. Let's go before he changes his mind.
What do you feed her? Dog food. Where'd you get it online from a dog guy?
So feel good means feel good. Heavy dog, dog food.
Dog eats dog food. It's informative and entertaining. Welcome to breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, and Bailey's having dog food. All right. By the way, that's his second go-around. It's his first go-around with Frenchies. He was a Rottweiler guy. He had one of the best Rottweilers I've ever met in Axel, and then he had another one, and it wasn't as good. And now he's switched breeds, and now he's a Frenchie guy. Everyone's a Frenchie guy. People love Frenchies. They're the most popular dog in America now. Did you know that?
I did not know
They
that.
supplanted the Lab after a 30-year run as the most popular dog in America.
Hold on, let me write that down.
We got any more useless information here? But we've had a very informative day. We got a lot from Bill Mott. We've gotten a lot of Forever Young once again. We saw journalism on the track. Michael McCarthy very forthright in. Look, he can only control what he can control. He can't worry about those other runners. We've seen a number of the horses in the sprint division as well. Yesterday, today, the two busiest days of works are almost behind us at this point. And so far, we haven't seen what we haven't wanted to see, and that was something go wrong in a work. A horse work too fast, a horse leave their race on the track, or anything go awry.
Yeah, so going forward for the rest of the week, this show goes through, what, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday morning. The way it's going to play out, so we've had all the works. We've still got Straight No Chaser. Sovereignty, the big name, marquee name tomorrow. And then the next wave is going to be the European horses. That's what we really need to pay attention to see how they settle in and ship in. So we're going to see horses, how they come out of their workouts on the track, Sovereignty, and then the Europeans, they come in and they're going to sit in quarantine. I think it's for 19, 24 hours, so we'll see them Tuesday morning.
Okay, they start serving breakfast tomorrow, and then the Europeans hit the track on Tuesday. Those are the only two things I can think about. Food, and then the Euros.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Breakfast. Hang on. I got breakfast. Joaquin, I got to write down the breakfast schedule. What do you have for us?
All right, well, you're writing down that. I'm going to talk about one of the Japanese horses who just stepped onto the racetrack right now, and that is going to be Elise Verite. She ran in the Breeders' Cup Distaff last year. That was her first attempt on the dirt. Actually ran an okay fourth behind Torpedo Anna, considering it was her first attempt on the main track. She's just off to my left over here. She just stepped out onto the racetrack. She's just jogging in the 7-8 chute right now. But let's go back a year ago, refresh your memory on Elise Verite, because this is interesting. Last year, she was pre-entered in 2 races. Her first preference was the Filly Mare Turf. She did not get into the Filly Mare Turf. The backup plan was the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and that's the race she was able to get into. She ran in the Breeders' Cup Distaff and finished 4th behind Torpedo Anna. This year, 2025, she also pre-entered 2 Breeders' Cup races. It's reversed. Her first preference is the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Remember, she has not run on dirt since last year at Del Mar. And her second preference is going to be in the Filly and Mare Turf. Just speaking to the connections right now, they're going to go into the Breeders' Cup Distaff off those races on the grass in Japan coming in here. But when you look at the pre-entries for the Filly and Mare Turf, she actually would be able to get into the Filly and Mare Turf. I find it interesting because she, throughout her career, is essentially a turf horse. She only has 1 dirt race in her career, and that was the Breeders' Cup Distaff last year. So, Mike, when you guys are handicapping these races and you see Elise Verite pre-entered in the Filly Mare Turf and the Distaff, put her in the Distaff once again this year for Team Japan.
Let's move on to the dirt mile. Goal-oriented for Bob Baffert, coming off of that 3rd place finish behind Baeza in the Pennsylvania Derby, out for a spin this morning.
Your favorite, Mike, the lights.
Yes. Which blinking light looks better to you? It's the blinking light. Says, I was told on the inside. I have no idea which one of those two is on the inside.
The one in front.
The one in front's on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Simon, I'm glad your eyesight's not failing you. What do we got here? 47-4, half mile for goal-oriented in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile once again for Bob Baffert, working them in company.
Yeah, this is sharp work, 47-4, and I like how they only went a half mile. His last 2 works were very quick, 1:11-1 2 back, and then 1:11-3. So this is just something that's nice and sharp, but well in hand now.
Yeah, he's one of the many 3-year-olds that Bob Baffert had, and earlier this year, he was very impressive, and then he was fast-tracked into the Preakness. I thought ran a respectable race, actually, finishing 4th. So he's lightly raced, he's still improving, and again, half-mile time 47.4. That's on the quicker side, but that's where Bob Baffert, that's where his horses work. They usually work on the faster side, so that was a good workout. What a gallop out.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right, from the strobe lights to Michelle Yu. Do you still have your dog, Michelle?
I do have the dog, Mike. I'm taking the dog home. It's now my dog. But we're stopping in at George Papadopoulos because I followed a line of jockeys, and I was thinking, where'd they go? And they having a meeting? And Edwin said, yeah, very important. And here they all are. Look, Edwin, Kent DeSormo, Giovanni. They're all riding these horses for George O'Brien. At least that's what they call him right now. It's George Papadopoulos. So nothing with the purple saddle towel, but a ton of action. Look when they come over here. We've still got Umberto Rispoli coming up, Kyle Fry, David Cohen, Mike Smith. The whole lot is here. We caught up with Giovanni Franco, talked about Lovesick Blues. Maybe you guys can watch that later on. But right now, we're going to follow this massive set out and also try and catch Straight No Chaser.
There's George Papadopoulos.
These are not all Breeders' Cup. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head think how many he's got in.
As Andrew thinks we're hilarious. I think he's talking about you, Joe. Yeah, you can see all the GAP, that gap. That's George A. Papadopoulos. I don't know what the A stands for, but yeah, he's got quite the set about to head out there.
The Greek Freak.
The Greek Freak, yeah. It's probably Antetokounmpo. Who's the NBA player? Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I guarantee that's his middle name.
Yeah.
I don't think
something close to that.
George Papadopoulos is the Greek Freak. It's more like Greek yogurt. So we have more to come here, including the reigning Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, Straight No Chaser, going to head out there for his final preparation, getting ready to roll here. You've got a handful of Hall of Famers there on horseback for George Papadopoulos, and we've got more to come from Santa Anita and here at Del Mar. Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup continues right after this.
Elegance is an attitude.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's post time for the Whitney. The field turns for home. Fierceness is the one to catch. He has a 3-length lead. Sierra Leone down the center of the track is coming with powerful strides. And Highland Falls is in there too. But it's Sierra Leone who takes the lead from last to first. Highland Falls trying his best. Sierra Leone has won the Whitney.
Gun Runners on top of the world.
FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Phasic Tipton.
Welcome back as we've got a pair of Wesley Ward runners out on the racetrack. Of course, one of them being the Phoenix winner, Nakatomi, as he prepares for the sprint. And this is out at Keeneland, so obviously earlier today. And because it's a Keeneland, they're not wearing the Breeders' Cup saddle towels just yet. But what you're talking about working in company with his stablemate Nakatomi.
Yeah, what you're talking about on the inside, Nakatomi on the outside. And this is kind of interesting. These two ran 1-3 in the Phoenix, and here they are coming back working together.
Yeah, and you could see going to the pole, they were both kind of keen, feeding off of each other, one wanting to go off of the other. But yeah, they went 101 and 3. Nakatomi is to the outside, and what you're talking about to the inside. Nakatomi is coming off that neck victory in the Phoenix back at Keeneland. You could see he's just kind of sitting to the outside there. I would have to think they're just going to join up and try and finish head and head down the stretch.
Yeah, 101. This is not a quick work for a Wesley Ward run. If you look at the workouts of both these horses, they're accustomed to going in 47 in a minute. So they had a sharp workout coming in. Horse on the inside hanging on his left lead.
Both of
them. Yeah, the horse behind. And Nakatomi, yeah, they haven't. I don't know whether it's a situation. Well, they just jumped over there. Nakatomi did. Sometimes riders, you know, obviously this is a snapshot. I say that. I don't know whether this horse does this all the time. And sometimes riders don't want to make that move just in case a horse jumps in the bridle and goes. But I like to see the lead change, though.
Yeah, and both of these horses are coming off their last two works were pretty sharp. So I wouldn't be bothered that this is a little bit on the slower side. You mentioned that Wesley does work his horses somewhat on the quick side, but I would think only being less than a week out, this is probably exactly what he wanted to do.
And there's a look at them just slowing up after that gallop out. Scott Hazelton caught up with Wesley Ward after the work.
All right, final workouts for Nakatomi and what you're talking about here at 9 o'clock Eastern at Keeneland Racecourse. They came out, they got right to it. What'd you make of this final work, Wes?
I liked it. The track was really in good shape today, and they just had a nice easy breeze 6 days out from the race. Ready to go, both horses in the same race, and I like what I seen.
What you talking about going out, leading Nakatomi off the pace? Why was the setup in that way, in that fashion in this workout this morning?
Well, Nakatomi's had about 147 works, and he's never won one in his life. So, yeah, we put somebody out in front of him, and Julio Garcia, my main rider, weighs 102 pounds. He just sits back there and he kind of clocks them, and he just comes right up to their tail, you know, every work of his life. So the horse, he knows his routine, and it's just a little final maintenance drill on his home track here before we get on the airplane tomorrow.
You talk about Nakatomi not being able to finish off a work. I mean, is he just the type of horse that knows the difference between practice and when it comes down to game day and he's running against a pack of horses?
He's a highly, highly intelligent horse. So, you know, he knows his job, he knows his routine, he even knows when it's getting close to something going to happen, you know, that the races are coming up. So he's a really neat horse to be around. You know, he's getting older now, and he just today was a really, really good move. Like he, you know, had his ears pricked, looking forward, looking at that other horse, and just waiting for a cue from Julio what to do. So it's a great horse to train.
What about what you're talking about? What have you made of the campaign that he's had so far in 2025?
He's a talented horse, and he's run some serious numbers, buyer numbers and raggers and sheet numbers that warrant him being in the race. He may have won. He may have beat Nakatomi the other day if you watch the race. He got pinned down on the inside. Unfortunately, Steve Asmussen's horse got left at the gate and rushed up, and then when he was starting to stop, we got pinned in right behind him, and so the whole way down the lane he had nowhere to run until the last few jumps, and he kind of broke free and got loose and jumped in there for third. But had he had a better trip, he may have turned the tables on Nakatomi.
You happy with how everything's gone with all the horses that you're sending back to Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup and their preparations in these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, everybody had some really nice breezes on the grass yesterday. My turf works, Schwarzenegger, and all of them breezed great. So I'm looking forward to getting out there tomorrow and getting them settled in. Blake Heap, my assistant out there for, not even my assistant, my my buddy, and he, instead of working for me, he works with me for all these years. So I really don't even need to go. In fact, one year I didn't go. I stayed home in Florida, and we won 2 races. So maybe I shouldn't go. Just let Blake handle it. But the horses are in great hands. Another groom of mine, 2 grooms of mine out there, Manuel Frausto and Jose Reveles, have worked for me since I started training in California in 1992. So that's back when I had black hair. Now it's white. So I'm real confident that the horses are going to get there. I don't arrive until the day before the races start on Thursday. So, but everything looks good.
I speak for everybody. Make sure you come. We want you there at Del Mar, Wesley.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy.
Not everyone. I mean, maybe the owners are having second thoughts about him coming out.
Went 2.
Went 2 from home, huh?
But that's great. The great info about the workout there. That horse, I mean, if you watch his work, Nakatomi, he doesn't impress to the eye, but that's just him. He's had 147 works, never passed a horse.
I mean, every horse is a story. Every horse is a book or a movie or however you want to call it. We're going to actually take a closer look at Nakatomi a little bit later on in the show. I want to get to this next work because it's one that we've been waiting for all day long. Straight No Chaser on the track at Santa Anita. The reigning Breeders' Cup Sprint winner. As we take a look out at the Great Race Place for trainer Dan Blacker, who has just done a masterful job managing this horse throughout his career and a great job getting him to peak at the right time last year and run the best race of his life in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Can he do it again in 2025?
Yeah, he's going to go a half mile here with assistant trainer Juan Landeras. I know on the 12th of October he went a little quicker than Dan wanted, 47 flat. And, this is a very fast racehorse. And, it's hard to really gauge how to work this horse. And you can see he's just got a horse galloping in front of him, I think. And you see him jump into the bridle when he saw that?
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't want this at all because I'm sure Straight No Chaser saw this horse and wanted to kind of take off after him. But you could see Juan, I mean, he's absolutely skiing on this horse, trying to slow him down. And you mentioned it, Sonic, he's a really good workhorse. You can see the final time in 49, which is exactly what you want to do less than a week out with a horse like this, because if he would shake the reins at him at any point, he would absolutely take off and probably go 11 flat. But it looks like to his outside, I don't know who that is, but it looks like a Michael McCarthy horse to his outside. But that's actually nice of the exercise rider to kind of stay a length or 2 off him, because if they would have hooked up, they would have went down there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's an unfortunate situation, but it worked out well. I thought Juan Landeras did a tremendous job here. I mean, I keep using the analogy, he's just taking his foot off the brake pedal. He's just locked in, can't move. And he probably, when he looked up and saw that Michael McCarthy horse there, he probably said a few words. And as Joe said, if you saw him come off the turn, the other Michael McCarthy horse went wide to give him, he's wearing the saddle towel. He knows he's a Breeders' Cup horse. Yeah. Probably doing the right thing.
Were those bad words that he said, those few words?
Yeah.
To bleep them out?
They weren't good.
No.
Okay. All right. 49 flat, and this was a look at the route that he went, the half mile. I want to remind people just exactly what the journey is on these works. So a half mile in 49, so that's right in the middle there between fast and slow.
Yeah, that's where you want to go, 46 on the fast side, maybe 45 and change. So I would think Dan's got to be very, very happy with that work. He probably wasn't. He's probably changing his underwear during the work.
Wow, let's see if he's got clean skivvies on as we go to Michelle Yu.
Where do I go with that, you guys? First of all, happy or not happy?
Yeah, very happy.
Second of all, during the work, was there any moments of trepidation?
Not ideal to get company. That's why we work at 9 o'clock with him. He's just a horse that if he's in company, he wants to go. So not ideal for our final work picking up company, but my assistant Juan does an excellent job. He could see that how it developed and kept hold of the horse, and the horse worked really well. 48 and 3 looked really good. I was really happy with the work.
It looked like to the McCarthy that was on your outside kind of gave you a little bit of a berth instead of pushing right up in. He maybe gave you some respect there, do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, it looked like he was. I don't think McCarthy's got one in the race, so he's probably like, we let this one go.
What's it like going in with the pressure of having the Breeders' Cup winner from last year?
I don't feel like I put a lot of emphasis on getting these works right with any horse, and obviously it's a little more pressure when you have a horse who's going for the Breeders' Cup, but I put pressure on the guys, the riders, to try and get it right, and these little details that can make the difference between winning and losing. So I think it's important to try and get everything as right as you can, and obviously because of that, there's a little pressure on everyone to try not make mistakes. But yeah, I mean, he's a great horse. I just want to get him into the race as best condition I can to do him justice.
I saw a nice picture of you with Richard Mandella, who was one of your mentors the other day. You guys will be racing against each other. Does he give you any advice, or now is it like, no, I can't help you anymore?
The last couple of weeks, he's been in Mandela mode. Like, we chat.
Very quiet.
We chat on the apron, like, very often at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's pretty chipper and like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. Just general chit-chat. And then last 2 weeks, he's been like... I'm like, I've seen that face before. I'm steering well away.
Yeah, I see that face too, and I also steer well away. He was very chipper this morning, though, after his horse work, so at least that was good for... It was good for me. Yeah. You know. No,
and to be fair, I'd say the people around me can say the same thing about me when we get approaching the big races.
Oh, do you get a little testy?
I don't know. I don't think so, but some people have told me that.
All right, my new goal, instead of annoying Michael McCarthy, is I'm going to check in with Dan Blacker every day, and I'm going to see at what level he starts to get really annoyed. How about that?
Okay, well, I know who to avoid when we get to Del Mar.
You can just hide behind Michael McCarthy, all right? There's going to be a line of people. Dan, we appreciate the time, as always.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great interview. I will say this, and I mean this. I said this the other day. I feel like his wife working for FanDuel does him a little bit of a disservice as far as how much praise we give him on the air. I think we all want to err on the side of not seeming biased. He is a Breeders' Cup winning trainer, a Grade 1 winning trainer. He's an excellent horseman. His win percentage is above 20%, and I don't feel like we give him his just due because we're trying to err on the side of being, oh, let's not play favorites.
Well, he just talked about it, the precision and the work times that he talked about, the pressure that's on there. We talk about the perfect time to go in. He even said that he puts pressure on himself and his employees to kind of not mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, Juan Lindera, I always say the unsung heroes of the exercise ride. What you saw there could have gone drastically the wrong way.
Yes.
I mean, he went out at 9 o'clock by design because the track's empty. What are the chances of that? You hook up with a horse.
Right.
There were probably 15 horses out on the track at that time. And he's probably sitting in the stands thinking, oh, my gosh, But Juan Landeros, hats off to you. Did a great job. And hats off to the Michael McCarthy rider for drifting out, turning for the turn. He respected his workout.
Let's check in with Joaquin.
Hey guys, just to follow up here on the Breeders' Cup Sprint and the conversations with Straight No Chaser, who is looking to repeat in that race, as you've been discussing for trainer Dan Blacker. Look, it has not been something that has been accomplished many times over the years, and this is an original Breeders' Cup race going back to 1984. The first horse that won back-to-back editions of the Breeders' Cup Sprint was Midnight Loot. That wasn't that long ago. That was in 2007 at Monmouth Park when he won in the slot, followed it up the very next year over at Santa Anita in 2008. It was a few years after that Rory H. won back-to-back sprints for Peter Miller. That was right here at Del Mar. And then most recently, Michelle Yu, it was Elite Power for Juddmonte Farms and Bill Mott that won back-to-back editions of the sprint. So it's a very elite list, as Elite Power is the last horse to do it. Going back to 1984, only 3 horses have won back-to-back editions of the Breeders' Cup Sprint, Michelle, and Straight No Chaser is trying to be the 4th.
Well, I feel like Straight No Chaser a little bit lucky, too, because I think that the leader of the Sprint division has to be Bookham Dano, and Bookham Dano opted to bypass the Breeders' Cup. Looking forward to campaigning the son of Buchero next year as well. So I do think that while his path is not going to be an easy one, having to get through Copion as well as Ben Tornado, I do think it is a little bit easier by the fact that Bookham Dano is not in there. And, Mike, I don't work for FanDuel full-time, so I can go ahead and sing Dan Blacker's praises and not feel bad about it. He's winning at a solid 27% clip for the year. He's winning at like 30% for the Santa Anita meet. All he does is send out horses that do good off of the layoff. He's got first-time starters that are 2. He's got first-time starters that are 5. They run very well, and he has had 5 individual stakes winners this year. So you've got Straight No Chaser. He's got a whole barn of horses that he's doing a really excellent job with this year as well.
Thank you, Michelle. And yes, you are right. We're going to take a closer look now at trainer Dan Blacker and last year's win with Straight No Chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Breeders' Cup Sprint. And it is Straight No Chaser straight to the front. Straight No Chaser third outside of them with 3 furlongs to go. Straight No Chaser joins the fray on the outside with 1 furlong to run. Straight No Chaser at Ben Fernando. Straight No Chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
To start out with 4 very modest claiming horses and to work at it and push and put all the time in that we have into it and end up winning a Breeders' Cup, it was vindicating. I grew up on a farm in rural England and I was around horses from an early age. It was almost in my destiny to follow a path and be involved in horses for my career. I remember watching the Breeders' Cup, and when Richard Mandella won 4 Breeders' Cup races in one day, still to this day, I think it's probably the greatest Breeders' Cup achievement of all time. I worked in France, and that's where I met Gary Stevens, who was at the time in France, and he kind of put the idea in my head of one day coming to California and working for Richard Mandella. So I've been really lucky to travel all around America doing this job, and came back to California to start up on my own in 2012. It's just been a grind, and I won't sugarcoat it. It's been hard. Year after year, I just build up the numbers, build up the quality of the barn. Straight No Chaser came about, and we were fortunate enough that this horse was super talented and got him to a point where he was a Breeders' Cup contender, and to go and win one was very vindicating. I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than I was, and I think it was the fact that the horse just gave me so much confidence that week. It was surreal. We got a good post position. We were outside. That's where I wanted to be. The race shaped up like how I thought it could do optimally for us, and everything just worked out. We were in a big group of people on those bleachers right in front of the grandstand on the apron, and yeah, we all went nuts after he passed the wire.
Coming down to the line together, Straight No Chaser and Ben Fernando. Straight No Chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
So happy to have my family there, my wife and my children, and that's what makes this game so special, is to share those moments, the wins, and with all these people. And that's what's so unique about training for my racehorse as well, is you're not training for one owner, you're training for 900. Building up to that point, it was all worth it, and hopefully more to come. I think that's been the goal all year, was to try and come back to running the Breeders' Cup again. But this horse, he doesn't owe us anything. He's achieved so much and cemented his legacy now. I just want to do it for the horse, really. He's a great horse, and I want him to prove it again and give all the partners that have been so patient another fun experience.
Well, Straight No Chaser looking to repeat in the Breeders' Cup Sprint for his trainer, Dan Blacker. His jockey is going to be John Velazquez once again, and John Velazquez comes into the Breeders' Cup this year with 21 wins in the Breeders' Cup. So we're at the end of October. We're essentially 10 full months into the racing season. Let's take a look at who the top 5 jockeys are leading by earnings this year in 2025. John Velazquez, he is on this list as well. He's number 5, just over $17 million in earnings this year for Johnny V. One thing you'll notice in here is when you look at the agents, how about 3 agents represent the top 5 jockeys? Brad Pegram with Flavien Prat, Steve Rushing has the brothers, and Kieran McLaughlin has Luis Saez and John Velazquez. So for those 3 gentlemen, a hell of a 2025 for them. Flavien Prat, he's on top, $32 million in earnings, 7 Breeders' Cup wins last year. Irad right behind him with 32. Jose Ortiz, who worked journalism at Del Mar, $28 million for Jose, and then Luis Saez with $23.8 million. So Flavien Prat, 2 Breeders' Cup wins last year with Sierra Leone and Moira. I spoke to Flavien's agent, Brad Pegram. This is the list of confirmed mounts that Brad Pegram gave to me for Flavien Prat this year in the Breeders' Cup, who's coming off an Eclipse Award win in 2024. Future Stars Friday, Royal Testament, Lawali in the Juvenile Fillies for Mark Glatt. Infinite Sky in the Juvenile Fillies turf. Brent in Argos, he knows very well. 2 for 2 on Brent. Won the Grade 1 Summer on Argos. As you move in the championship Saturday for Flavien, he picks up the mount on Splendora. Juan Hernandez goes to Sweet Azteca. Pratt now rides Splendor for Bob Baffert. Turf Sprint, he has Governor Sam for George Weaver. Mulliken, he finished 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Sprint as the post-time favorite last year. He's aboard him again. Cleco is his mount in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Redistricting, Sierra Leone, program trading, Nisos. He knows all those horses very well. Of course, the leading 2 are going to be the Breeders' Cup Classic winner in Sierra Leone and Nisos for him in the Dirt Mile for Bob Baffert, and then Village Voice in the last Breeders' Cup race in the Philly and Mayer Turf. So, guys, that's a look at the full book of rides for Flavien Prat. Joe Talamo, I'll go to you. 14 Breeders' Cup races. Flavien is riding all 14 Breeders' Cup races, but from the list I just mentioned, 7 of those mounts, Joe, he is riding for the very first time. I know it's one thing, you guys do it all the time, but it might just be 1 or 2 horses on an afternoon. Joe, how is Flavien going to prepare when half the horses he's riding in the Breeders' Cup this year, he's never even sat on their back before?
Yeah, Joaquin, I would say for the most part, that's pretty normal for a jockey. We just saw it today with Jose Ortiz flying in to work journalism. That I would say that's pretty rare coming from the East Coast to West Coast. But nonetheless, for a race like that, it's pretty good to do that. And a lot of replays are going to be in that horses that he's riding for the first time. Talking to the trainers, the connections, owners, and what have you. And let me just say that for Flavien Prat, what he's done in the last few years is pretty remarkable if you're thinking about it, because he was very comfortable here. You could say with being the leading rider at Delmore, Santa Anita, for the last 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, he took a real shot going to New York, and what you could say at the time, the Ortiz brothers were pretty much untouchable, winning Eclipse Award after Eclipse Award. I mean, it took them a little while, but that was pretty hard and remarkable for him to win that Eclipse Award last year, and he's leading in earnings right now.
So when he did that, I was working with the PDGF and Hall of Famer Ramon Dominguez, and he asked me who I thought the best rider in the world is. I was like, well, it's Flavien. He's like, really? You think he's better than Irad, Jose? I was like, look, you're splitting hairs, but I think he's the best. And he was very skeptical. After about 6 months in New York, I get a text from Ramon. He goes, you were right.
Yeah. Well, he went there primarily for Chad Brown. You start there, and then, once you ride for him, you work out. But I'll give you the greatest example of why jockeys can jump on a horse for the first time and win. It was a horse called Arkong in 1993. Who won the Breeders' Cup Classic at odds of, 133 to 1. If you listen to Jerry Bailey's story, he said he'd never seen the horse. He didn't know what he looked like. He walked in the paddock. Andre Faure was there. Gave him a whole bunch of instructions in French. He didn't understand a word of it. Just, yeah, no problem. Okay. Won the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Is that the horse he was singing Jingle Bells down the backstretch on?
I don't know.
Somebody told. There's a great Jerry Bailey story.
I actually did hear something like that.
There was a story. They said if you want the horse to relax, sing to him. And so he's on the lead. It wasn't Arkong because he was on the lead, but he said he was on the backstretch and he was like 5 lengths clear, and he's trying to get the horse to relax. And the only song you could think of is Jingle Bells. So he's sitting there singing Jingle Bells down the backstretch. He's like, I was just hoping nobody got within earshot of me to hear me singing. At any rate, that was a great little trip down memory lane. Let's get back out to Churchill Downs. Katin Bradar caught up with Steve Asmussen. Obliteration was on the track earlier today in Louisville, as the winningest trainer of all time is with Katin Bradar right now.
With Steve Asmussen's Obliteration out bright and early for the first work of the morning. And Steve, it sort of looked to my eye like the patented Steve Asmussen final big race prep.
Lovely horse, nice resume, plenty of races, just needs the trip. Obviously, very excited about his chances.
Why he stayed here as opposed to Zeitlos already in California? And usually you go out a little early with your Breeders' Cup horses.
I know not letting you train on the turf out there's no benefit of it. I think that him doing well here, getting on the charter directly out of Louisville, saves a little bit of travel for him. Like I said, if he's not going to get trained on the turf out there, he just will be here.
In a wide open race, you could argue that he's maybe the most consistent or most proven of anybody in the field. As he's never been worse than second. He's run well on dirt, he's run well on turf, and he's competed well at the highest level.
Like I said, lot to like about him because of his consistency of form. Obviously, I think the last 3 winners of the juvenile turf, though, are European horses. So, but they got to work out the trip, and I think there's not any variable that Obliteration has not seen to this point.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You'd have a hard time convincing me that that's not the greatest trainer to ever throw a saddle over the horse. Hey, I mean, the wins mark, the caliber of horses he's had, the all levels of racing, the whole operation, the breadth of everything. It's just, he's a machine.
Well, he could train anything, from anywhere from a 5-claimer to curling, and they all look great. I mean, some of his cheapest horses look absolutely incredible.
And even at this stage of his career, he's claiming 5 claimers for himself.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out, though, because this show would not be possible without the good people of Milton's Deli right down the street on Via de la Valle. They fed the whole crew before they were even open at like 4 this morning.
They did?
Yes, the whole crew.
That's
breakfast at the Breeders' Cup show.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
A club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because it's will be. Like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all, trillionaires, calling all, trillionaires, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
What's better than one fill? 2 fills.
That was a keen turn of speed.
2 stakes wins at 2.
And it's 2 fills.
2 5.5 Ragozins.
And the son of hard fun.
2 105 buyers, including the Kentucky Derby.
And a passion run by 2 fills.
In the last 17 derbies, no horse has been faster.
This is a serious 3-year-old.
2 fills, standing at WinStar Farm.
Welcome back to Del Mar. Hello, Brig. I've yet to make it to the Brigantine. That's got to be cured. At any rate, welcome back to the Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup shows. The marquee opens tomorrow. Make sure you, if you're in town, you check out some of the horses galloping and grab some tea and crumpets. We were talking to Wesley Ward earlier today as Nakatomi put in his final prep and working toward this year's Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's coming off a game win at Keeneland as well, as we take a closer look at this very talented sprinter.
Nakatomi is mowing them down at the 16th pole to win. The stall, Keenan, Ogden, Phoenix.
What a performance from Nakatomi.
He absolutely exploded.
The 6-year-old gets it done.
I'm just happy for this horse and that he finally got it done in a race that I've been trying to win since I got here.
He's been to the Breeders' Cup twice before. Could this be his year?
I'm very lucky to have that barn. You take horses and you turn them out at a farm to where they're not, in a racing environment, and then bring them back to the track. Whereas I have the best of both worlds. He can live at a farm and have that air just flowing through the center aisleway there, just like he was 20 miles away from here in a nice, peaceful, tranquil setting. Yet I'm able to train on the racetrack here. It's just a lot of these horses just thrive, and this being one of them. Hey, Arturo, sácalo aquí. This has been his groom for all these years, Arturo. And I really think that walk down before Jose gets on him. It helps him just to kind of chill out and relax. In England and France and Europe, that's a lot similar to what I do here at my tobacco barn, to where they're in a more tranquil environment than, say, being here at a track. You could take Nakatomi and you can put him here. He wouldn't do as well as he does up there. Oye, Julio, ven. This is Julio Garcia. This is a little fella that's been on him for 4 years when he goes fast.
He's a good horse, you know. He's like Cadillac, you know, it's nice, you know.
I attribute a lot of my success to Julio because he'll know, you know, if a horse is different from week to week. So when Julio flew out to Santa Anita 2 years ago and breezed him, he goes, Wesley, he's going to run very, very big. He said he loves the racetrack, and he ran huge. So last year when Julio went out to Del Mar, he goes, oh, Wesley, he's doing good, but he just doesn't seem to get a hold of this track. He's Nostradamus. He's the predictor. He was right last year as well. Okay, back on it. After the Breeders' Cup last year, we just trained him into Dubai, and he ran really well. But he kind of really put a lot of effort in that to where when he got home, he didn't really give us 100% to where we knew that, you know, maybe he'd lost a step, and we just didn't know what type of horse we would have. Maybe if he's, you know, age is kind of creeping up on him or what. And now it just seems like as the years going forward that he's really coming into his own and getting back to really what he was. You know, he's 6, going to be 7, but sprinters, you know, they can maintain their form, and he seems to be doing it. He pretty much does the same thing every day. He just jogs. And then once a week he'll go fast. We'll breeze him, you know, 5/8 of a mile or what have you. He knows his routine very well. Got the same rider, Jose Hernandez, is on him since he's 2. Si puede sueltar aquí, cuate, y espera por el caballo. I don't like to train him very hard. He seems to run well, kind of doing very little. This has been him for years and years and years. You know, every once in a while we'll gallop, like normal horses gallop, but he's a trier. You know, he's got to have a quick pace up front to make a big run out of him. If they go slow up front, they finish strong. He's not able to catch them. Good boy. My first Breeders' Cup was 1994, and I was a young guy with dark hair, and now I'm an old guy with white hair. So you know, you kind of know the routine, and it's always exciting. But Del Mar, you know, it's a little bit of a question mark in that he didn't fire last year on that surface. So it may have been a long year, and he just a little bit of fatigue of training it, you know, all throughout the whole year. But this year his energy level is high, and he's coming off a big win. You know, his other previous years he didn't win in the Phoenix. So, you know, these horses all know when they win, they come back, and you could tell their demeanor. You know, like an athlete that's on a winning team. We'll see what happens. You know, all these races are tough, especially Breeders' Cup races. So we're going to need everything go our way to win. He's coming at us here now. As you can see, he's really feeling well, jumping and playing. That's kind of what I'm watching. His eyes are bright, and his ears are going back and forth, and he's really feeling well. Como fueron? Yeah. He's got his tail switching in the back there, so that's the way you want to see any racehorse going as you're getting ready for a race, just like that. This is exactly how I'd want to see Nakatomi coming into the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He'll go up there and get his bath and get cooled out on the grass. And that's pretty much his routine every day, other than 1 or 2 days a week he'll head over to the saltwater spa and stand there for 20, 25 minutes. And once a week we got a little 102 pounds of dynamite. Julio Garcia gets on him and lets him go down there 5/8 in about just over a minute, and that'll be him.
Well, day in the life of Nakatomi, and we've got another Wesley Ward runner here on the track, Baccio, who's right now 5th on the AA for the juvenile turf sprint, but you never know what happens come entry time. Might be able to inch his way up into the body of the field.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate situation. He needs a lot of scratches to get in. But, I mean, his form is good against Later Than Planned. You know, Later Than Planned is the horse that we saw yesterday for trainer Phil D'Amato.
Yeah, you could see him right here putting his head up there. I'm not quite so sure where he's breaking off at, but looks like he's pretty far on the outside there. Yeah, I think he's going to break off at the half-mile pull. A little bit, he's into the bridle right here. You could see he's got his mouth wide open. He's definitely wanting to do something this morning.
Yeah, you can tell. He kind of practices like he plays like a lot of Wesley's horses. He's good with sprinters. They're fast, but the rider's just trying to get, that transition we always talk about into the work, and now he's picking it up. See, the horse starts to drop his head. Rider hasn't moved his hands. Every time the rider pulls, do you see the head come up? Right, Joe? And that often can happen a lot. Sometimes that neck strap around the horse's neck will help. The rider, I think, has got his hands in that neck strap to keep his hands down.
He seems kind of like a light-mouthed horse. It seems like the more you pull, the more he'll kind of open his mouth and raise his head up. You can see now he's fine. Finally got relaxed. Rider hasn't moved at all, and he's finally getting in a good rhythm. You can see his ears are straight up. I don't think this is a quick work by any means, and I'm sure that's by design. His last work on October 19th was 52 flat. I'm sure they probably just wanted the same thing, just kind of cruise around there, more or less give him an easy work over the turf course just to get a good feel for it.
And there's a look. Nice, easy drill for Baccio here. And trainer Wesley Ward, a horse who's on the outside looking in. A horse who's on the inside of all the, I don't know. I didn't make a good transition there. Journalism. It's been a long day. We're on our third hour. Journalism been on the minds of all of our handicappers, horse players, connections alike. We're going to recap his work. Jose Ortiz flying in to work him early this morning, and we'll revisit that when we return.
Elegance is an attitude.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred Racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints, or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
Keeneland November is where futures take root and legacies pass from one hand to the next. In the ring, excitement builds. A glance, a nod, a bid. History changes in an instant, and the impact lasts a lifetime. The market is here. The global stage is here. Your moment is here. Keeneland November.
Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with Go Oriented. In the meanwhile,
One of the most memorable Preaknesses in history, journalism, the high point of his 3-year-old campaign right there, as he is one of the best of this crop, and this looks like one of the best crops of 3-year-olds we've seen in a long, long time.
That was my first and only Preakness going to, and watching that live.
Wow.
I just remember like, oh, he's going to finish second, Goslin's going to win, and then all of a sudden you look up and then just got that. That was incredible.
I mean, he deserved to win. I mean, thankfully, Sovereignty went elsewhere. He sat on the bench, and that was good because journalism deserved a high-profile win like that.
Of course, journalism putting in his final work today. Jose Ortiz, the new rider, came in to familiarize himself with the sensational 3-year-old and get him around the track. It was our work of the day, Simon, and journalism. He's been a star of the works every single morning.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to give him 5 stars here, and not because when you watch this, you're like, oh, my gosh, this is super fast. He's blazing. He looks really good. It's just, we've seen him so much dating back to way before the Kentucky Derby that you just know he's doing so good. You've got a rider that came in, gets on him for the first time, and it was a perfectly executed work. 5 stars in every department for me.
I give him 5 stars, too, and I tell you who else I give 5 stars to is Jose Ortiz.
Yep.
Because I've seen so many times, and I've done it a lot, too. When you get on a horse for the first time, especially a good horse like this, they can trick you. I know we talked about a lot of good horses, they go a lot quicker than normal horses, and it feels like they're going slower. Jose Ortiz could have easily gone in 59 and change, and it could have felt like 101. I thought he got this time down to an absolute T, and especially being right around a week out or less. This is the perfect time, 101 and 2. Again, this is a type of horse that could easily go 59 flat. They were not looking for that, and from a fitness standpoint, he does not need that. This is absolutely to a T, picture perfect, and I mean, you're going to see him finishing here. His stride has not only not changed, but I think has gotten better from the Derby all the way till now.
I mean, the exercise rider on the inside deserves a lot of credit, too, because he kind of set the tempo for the work and knew the time he was going in. But, I mean, he looks like he's galloping and he's working. And his rhythm, his tempo, he's got, what are those things called? Metronomes. He just kind of tick-tock. I mean, it's just back and forth, is very metronomic, if that's a word.
But it is now. I'm gonna put it in my glossary of terms along with dog food and feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a look. Journalism, our work of the day. And after that, and he was on his way to catch a flight back to Kentucky, Jose Ortiz was corralled by our Joaquin Jaime.
Jose Ortiz and Aaron Wellman on a tight time schedule. Jose's got to get out of here to get back to the airport right now. Your first time aboard journalism. What was your first impression? What's he like?
Very classy horse. Beautiful mover. We went out there, we did 5 gates, and, I just let him stretch his legs and be happy. And, Michael was very happy with the work. The horse is ready, We're very happy with what he did today.
I know it's only one time and your first time getting aboard him. How do you use this experience now to have success in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
I just get to know him a little bit better, I've seen the replays, I know the horse. I was going to get together with the team and see how would they like to do stuff, what they'd rather be or the ideal position they want to see him, and we go from there, make a plan, and we go from there.
Well, you got in late last night around 1 a.m. You worked journalism earlier this morning. What's the rest of your day look like now?
You go back to Kentucky, and, I think we got a great car out there today with the 2-year-olds, and I'm ready to live horses for Kenny, and I'm very eager to get back, so...
Thank you for the time, Jose. Appreciate it. Safe travels, and we'll see you next week here for the Breeders' Cup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And you're coming back here when? Wednesday?
He's riding a horse called Universe in the street sense for trainer Ken McPeaks. Had a couple of starts, a win and a second, stretching out to 2 turns. And as I told you earlier, that's the race that kick-started Sovereignty.
Here's a look at the saddling paddock here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Signage is up. The marquee opens tomorrow. Breeders' Cup is right around the corner. Today is Sunday. First day of Breeders' Cup races is Friday. First day of racing this week is Thursday. But all the training action for today is just about wrapped up. As we are going to take a break, we'll come back with more on The Breakfast Show. The final quarter of an hour right after this.
Union Rags, a proven sire with 6 Grade 1 winners. He has 3 Grade 1 winning juveniles, including Dancing Rags, Union Strike, and standout older horses like Express Train and Paradise Woods. His success continues with recent graded stakes winner Circle of Trust and multiple graded stakes winner and Grade 1 winner Power Squeeze. Union Rags, a proven Grade 1 sire, standing at Lane's End.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Elegance is an attitude.
Welcome back to the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club as we're wrapping up day 3 of the Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup shows. Mike Joyce on set with Joe Talmos, Simon Bray, but right now we're going to head back out to Churchill Downs with Kaiten Bradar.
Well, with all the final preparations, serious preparations done, it's just about shipping time. Brad, how are your two coming into the Breeders' Cup trip?
They're doing great. They obviously had really good breezes here this weekend at Churchill. They both trained this morning. They're going to ship out early tomorrow morning, Monday morning. And, very happy with their soundness and how they look and how they're moving.
Very different horses. Infinite Sky, 2-year-old, still probably in the developing process and getting better. Stylify, older horse, a little bit more established. As far as what you're going to be watching for when they get to California in their training, obviously a lot of maintenance, but what will you be watching for specifically?
I just hope they continue to move well, pass all their inspections and, school well. Obviously, we'll take them to the paddock once or twice, and hopefully all that goes smooth. And, they're pretty maintenance-free fillies, so I'm excited about getting them out there, getting them through it, and giving them a shot.
Post position a factor for either one?
Probably, I don't like to, you can't control post, so you don't really worry about it. But, yeah, I think, running against, these Grade 1 horses at this level, post is important. You somewhat break, toward the middle or down toward the inside with these two, both on the grass. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, hopefully the momentum at Keeneland as leading trainer carries over to the Breeders' Cup, and it's certainly been familiar territory for you as far as Breeders' Cup success stories. But this would be a little different with some turf runners now.
Yeah, for sure. Like you asked the other day about shipping out there and acclimating, and it is a little bit different with grass horses, or a little bit of the unknown with us. So hopefully it goes well. I do think both fillies should like the turf course out there, and I'm not Infinite Sky. Hopefully she can get there with the shorter stretch, but I think it should suit Stylify very well.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Brad Cox, back-to-back Eclipse Awards for Outstanding Trainer in 20 and 21. His earnings of $31 million in 2021 are a single-season record for a trainer in North America. He's won the Belmont with Essential Quality and, of course, Mandolin, the Kentucky Derby winner, which you didn't find out until afterwards. Campaigned 7 Eclipse champions, including Horse of the Year Knicks Go, 4 Breeders' Cup races in 2020. And the top Breeders' Cup wins for him, well, Essential Quality in the Juvenile, Monomoy Girl in the Distaff, Knicks Go, of course, in the Classic and the Dirt Mile, and Immersive in the juvenile fillies. It's been a long and winding road for Brad Cox to reach these heights of success as we take a closer look at the two-time Eclipse Award winner.
I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, close to Churchill Downs. Mom and Dad worked in factories in Old Louisville, and my dad would take me to the races on the weekends at Churchill. I got the bug probably in high school that I wanted to pursue something in the business. Didn't know if I wanted to train or not. Started out as a hot walker, just learning to walk horses. I would have paid them to do it. I didn't have any money to pay them, but you know, it was just an education for me, you know, and I enjoyed being around the horses and learning, and you know, that's how it all started. Probably one of the lower points was in 2012. Midwest Thoroughbreds pulled all their horses. That time, I just think I had a couple outside horses, so you know, it was a rebuilding stage, but you know, we rebuild slowly.
Monomoy Girl and Florent Giroux have won the distaff. Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
And the Eclipse goes to Brad Cox.
Eclipse Award goes to Brad Cox.
Knicks Go, a superstar, wins the Breeders' Cup Classic.
We are strung out a little bit right now between 5 different locations and carrying about 150 horses right now. The management process is all it comes down to, just the help. You know, it's all about having a good core group.
Brad Cox has horses running all over the country right now. His son Blake is running the barn in Florida.
Blake, very talented horseman. He does a great job, pays attention. Communication skills are great. I think he's got a big future ahead. I'm sure he'll train at some point. Looking forward to supporting him, but try to keep a shank on him for a little bit longer, but he does a great job. At this point of my career, I'm focused on quality. We've had some good runs in the Breeders' Cup and been able to win a Belmont, and you know, looking forward to trying to win a Kentucky Derby and cross the wire first.
It's now official. Mandaloun has been named the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
Once you do that, I think the urge to continue or to try to do it again probably even grows greater. So, you know, a lot of unfinished business.
I mean, to me, it seemed like I'd never heard of Brad Cox, and then I hear of him winning Grade 1s. It was like that. But in his world, it was a long road to get there.
Not only a long road, I remember, I think it was Midwest Thoroughbreds he trained for, and it was mostly claiming horses. And when he got fired, he was down to 2 or 3 horses. I mean,
he went from 55 horses to 2. Yeah. That's what happened to me when I got fired. That's the problem when you train for one client like that. Those days are gone where people are private trainers. It's great until they come knocking and say, we don't need your services anymore.
Yeah, but the big difference between you and Brad was nobody sent Brad an application to work for TVG.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. These guys. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, Be Your Best and White Abarrio both had nice gallops today for Saffie Joseph Jr. What were your impressions of their work there, gallops today?
They both went well. White Abarrio galloped a little stronger than normal, but it's his first day galloping, so we were fine with that. And Be Your Best was nice and relaxed.
How are they typically to gallop? Is White Abarrio a stronger horse and Be Your Best relaxed, or how are they in general?
No, he's actually very relaxed, and most people go ride him, and she's a bit different. She can take a hold sometimes, and she's a little quirky, but he's actually the easy one, yeah.
Now, I noticed something about Be Your Best today. When she trains, she's wearing an outside extension blinker, but she doesn't wear that in her races. What is the reason behind all that?
Yeah, she does. She trains an extended blinker, and we've trained her when we got her. We kind of took it off at Saratoga for a bit, but we got her back to Gulch, Palmettos, and Jose, who gets on her, he thinks like she's actually more relaxed in it. So I said, if you want it, put it back on. And she does fine in it, but we don't run her in it, obviously. That's obviously to keep a horse from getting out, and that was a habit she had early on when we got her, but she's over that.
Now, I see you guys have Brownie the goat joining the contingent here. How long has White Abarrio had Brownie? And, I mean, what does Brownie help White Abarrio with?
Yeah, I mean, he's had him since he came back from Saratoga, so you're talking maybe early September. Just in goats in general, we have a bunch of them in the barn. So Brownie's always been in the barn, but his job now is White Abarrio, and it's just mainly for a mental aspect. I think horses, they enjoy company, they're herd animals, and he's definitely doing well with the goat. I think it's a help. It's an added handicapping edge.
Well, Saffie, thank you so much. Always a pleasure catching up. Great to see you in Southern California.
Thank you very much.
I'm worried about that guy sitting so close to Brownie. He's an aggressive goat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No words. First time we've been less speechless. I will say this, and on a serious note, Joe brought this up while we're watching that pack. You should look at the workouts on Wyatt Barrio. I mean, we saw Kopian go in 33 and change. He worked 33 and change, 46 and 2, 45 and 4, consecutive bullet works, right, Joe?
Yeah, very, very quick. And that 33 and 3, that was his first work off of a race. A lot of times you just want to go nice and easy. So he's definitely ready to roll. So I wouldn't expect anything too crazy this week. Just try and keep him slow down and keep him fresh going into that race.
It's interesting because he's not that. I mean, he doesn't exhibit that sort of speed in the afternoon. Maybe they're trying to get that into him for the mile. He's fired more bullets than John Wayne in the last month.
This guy with all the colloquialisms. All right, let's check in once again with Katin Bradar.
Well, anyone who saw my hit yesterday knows that I am now in love. I have an official crush on Klico. But Brendan, how did she come out of her breeze, and what does the schedule look like for her going forward to Del Mar?
She came out of it great, Kate, and we just had a jog there this morning, and she's going to leave now tomorrow morning. She's going to leave early, like I think they're going to be on the road for 5 a.m. They're expected into Del Mar around 2 California time tomorrow afternoon, and we'll probably do something light with her on Tuesday out there. Sorry, yeah.
Particularly with you having 2 fillies in the same race in the distaff with her as well as Jinjin. Post position, is it important to you?
I guess it's probably going to be a full enough field. So if it is, I guess you'd like to be drawn probably, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. In an ideal world, you obviously don't want to be too low or too high. But I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference. But with a big field, you'd like to have something favourable anyway.
And finally, I know you have a barn full of wonderful horses, but I'm wondering if she's as much a favorite here in the barn with all of you as she is to me, because she just seemed to have an exceptional personality.
She does, yeah. Everybody loves her. She's a sweetheart, She just kind of, because she's as good as she is too, I think everybody really likes her. Anyone that ever rides her, they're all falling in love with her. There's almost a fight to see who can ride her in the morning. So lucky enough I make the final decision on that.
It will be fun to watch her in the afternoon for sure, and we appreciate the time, especially my time spent with her. Best of luck.
Thanks, Kate.
Well, Katin, thank you very much. Back over here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club as we wind down show number 3. We did have some horses that were withdrawn from their respective Breeders' Cup races that Breeders' Cup officials announced yesterday. In case you missed the news, here are those horses that are withdrawn from 3 different Breeders' Cup races. Starting in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Desert Gate for Bob Baffert. He has been withdrawn. He was most recently second in the Grade 1 American Pharoah. Desert Gate is out of the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That now takes us to the Filly Mayer Turf. It was Give Me Another for trainer Graham Motion. Remember, Give Me Another was out here during the summer. She won the John C. Maybe Stakes. Give Me Another has been withdrawn from the Filly Mayer Turf. And then lastly, in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile, Almendares, who was a close third behind Johannes in the City of Hope in his most recent start. Almendares has been withdrawn from the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. So, Mike, there's an update for everybody to their pre-entry past performances. Desert Gate, Give Me Another, and Almendares, they are withdrawn from their respective Breeders' Cup races.
Joaquin, thank you. Very good work today, as with Katin and Michelle and Andy. And that's going to wrap up day 3 of the breakfast shows. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. You're going to be back at it tomorrow?
Cannot wait. I think we're going for a little workout. Mike has to go get a oxygen tank.
Yep,
so.
And then a little dinner. And one of the highlights for me, well, I learned that dogs eat dog food today. So there's more insight coming tomorrow.
Dogs eat dog food. Feel good horses feel good. There was another one.
Metronomic.
Metronomic is a word. I regret that that's all I learned today.
Very good.
You're welcome for that. As we wrap up the breakfast show, we'll see you tomorrow. The breakfast marquee opens, and we'll be back first thing in the morning. Thanks for joining us.